And we are live, man. We got us a little countdown, we turning it up a little bit, man. So again, welcome back to another live episode of the Social Impact Plight of the Black Man in America. Your co-host Deontay Cooley here with my co-host brother Malcolm Pulliam.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, Malcolm? How you feeling this evening, man? How you feeling?
Oh, I feel real good, bro.
That's good. That's good. That's always good to hear, man. So listen, we got a lot to talk about today.
Ooh.
We got a lot to talk about today, man, because it's so many different things that are going on. Not just here in Erie, Pennsylvania, but across the United States, just in general. Like it's so many different things going on. It's good things going on, it's bad things going on. So it's a lot of different topics to discuss, a lot of different things to cover. Like I'm just happy and grateful and appreciative to be able to have the opportunity to talk about some of these things here today, man. How you feeling about everything though, bro?
There's definitely a lot going on locally, across the United States as well. We got so many topics we can dive in. I don't even know which way we're going to go first, but we're going to be here and we're going to tackle these issues and we're going to get our point across and we're going to make sure that whatever needs to be understood is understood tonight.
Right, absolutely. And like I had posted a status earlier about some of the things that we was going to talk about, and I know that you've been again, you be all over the US with a bunch of issues going on, and you got a lot of contacts with a lot of different people. So I know that there was a huge incident in Mississippi with a law enforcement officer.
Yeah.
Killing I believe it was a 1-year-old baby.
1-year-old.
For like an incident regarding some Pampers or something like that, right?
Yeah.
All right, so you gonna have more information about that than me. So go ahead and give us a little bit, catch us up to speed on that one.
So with that situation, first of all, if you guys get a chance, please go follow my brother Marquel Bridges. He is down in Mississippi. He is boots on the ground with that. I also have a cousin down there as well in that same city. It's actually about 40 minutes outside of Memphis where my family is at. So my family is based in Memphis and that city in Mississippi where this incident happened with the 1-year-old.
Okay.
So again, if y'all can go follow my brother Marquel Bridges page, if you want to know more about what's going on down there and his efforts and bringing that awareness to that situation, please go follow his page. But that situation is crazy, bro.
What happened? Take a story.
So, a young lady went to Walmart with her friend.
Mm-hmm.
They went in supposedly to buy, they got some Pampers. So in between buying the Pampers and coming out of Walmart, I'm not sure if one of the employees stopped them and tried to say that they were still in the Pampers, but they saying that the Pampers were stolen.
Right.
They was in the car, they was bagging up, and next thing you know, shots fired.
So like there was shots inside the store?
No, in the vehicle.
Oh, you said it was backing up. Okay, I said it was backing up. Okay.
In the vehicle.
Hold on. So they bagging up their groceries. They get to the car, go to the car, and it's just shots just fired. No stop, no pull over, no.
I believe that the officer tried to pull them over, but they tried to back up because they was in fear. I guess it must have been a conversion of officers, period.
Okay.
So as they see the officers, they're bagging up to get out the way.
Uh-huh.
They're young, probably got scared. Of course, with that situation, the first thing that they say is they tried to run the officers over. But the people out there that actually seen it say that's not the case. Officer opened fire. He struck the child and also struck the driver. And I believe the driver is actually still in the hospital about this. But this officer that did that was recently fired from another police station. He was working in another county.
In the same state.
In the same state.
So he left one job as a police officer in the county, goes to another job, and this is. I wonder what he did. Is it release any information as far as why he's fired?
It was some type of bad conduct or something. He was doing something.
Okay.
It must have been. It had to be crazy because he got fired.
Right.
So the incident with the baby died, 1 year old. So now they're boots on the ground down there. They closed that Walmart down. Closed it down. Stopped
Yeah, I
all
seen
money.
that.
They
So-
stopped all money flow.
So that's what I seen. I was scrolling. And I seen you had share Mark Crow Bridges his page, and like I'm like, what's going on here? You know. So then I kind of catch up to speed and I see everything that's going on because I'm like, what took place at Walmart? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
So then you see all, you see everybody out there, and I'm just, I was like, I said,
they're it's a lot of moving parts with that situation down there. But again, I follow Marquell's page, so I'm able to see different things and hear different things because I'm able to get in contact with him. So I'm not going to divulge of all of everything that they got going on down there.
Right.
But it's constant movement. It's a crazy situation. And right now, they absolutely took that officer off the street. So he is not working. He probably still getting paid, but he is not working.
So, and then we got a comment there. Manny Mathis says the police was way too far away for them to pull that shit. Randomly just shooting people at Walmart is crazy negligence. And it seems like, because the situation here, you know what I mean? Like, you have an officer, it's like officers get to jump around, and I'm curious to know, like, what's the background check on a police officer? What's the psychological evaluation? Because I know that is a thing that they do, but it's just starting to seem again like, if you have ever been to the military and you have any history or background in any law enforcement, it's just like open season. You can get a job wherever you want to go. Is the way that it appears.
And obviously, what type of background check did they do? He got fired from a job as a police officer,
Right,
to go get another job,
right,
and create another instance of something happening to somebody. In just this case, it's a 1-year-old child. So, just that feeling alone should make you feel a type of way.
right. And then again, like, because it just seems like, well, I'm glad that from what you're telling me, like, the officer's no longer work, or he's not on the street anymore. You know what I mean? Because again, it just seems like sometimes that stuff gets pushed on, or it kind of considered okay. And it's like a lot of people I see a lot of different people who have negative things to say, or they're like kind of like supporting it, especially even before the facts come out. You'll see people like, oh, well, they should have complied, or they should have pulled over the car, and all of these different things, right? So you'll see so many people who are all for, the police brutality incidents. I don't want to say people who are for police brutality, but I will say the police brutality related incidents. You'll see so many common folks, you know what I mean, saying, oh, it was okay, or wait for things to unfold. But then on the flip side, when different things are taking place, like, it's like, oh, we need to hurry up and do something. We need to hurry up and address this. Like, because there was a situation where, like, a law officer, a sheriff killed a dog or something like that recently.
Yeah. Out in, I want to say.
It's here, somewhere here though, right?
Yeah.
So it's somewhere
out
here.
by Gerard.
And you see people rallying up for that. And it's like, oh, poor dog. And the officer lost his job, or he's suspended, and all of these different things. But like, when it's human life, and then when it's Black people, it's like, oh man, it's justified, or it's a reason. So, you know what I mean? And it continues to happen across the United States of America, because again, we're here in Erie, Pennsylvania. There's this incident that took place. Marcello Woodard was shot and killed by his parole agent. Then there's a situation again, which we just discussed in Mississippi, where a 1-year-old child was shot and killed by an officer over some Pampers at that. Like, and then like, if you come into Walmart for somebody stealing, when would the thought process ever be to go in guns a-blazing? You know what I mean? Like, what could they have possibly stole from Walmart that you felt the need to want to shoot somebody? Especially, there's cameras everywhere. There's cameras inside the store. So they could have took a picture of the people, took a picture of the plate. And if the police were there, they got I don't know if they got the technology in Mississippi, but they could have.
That's one thing they trying to have them do, is release the footage. They won't release that footage of what actually happened.
So who, like Walmart or the body cams?
I'm thinking body cams and Walmart.
That's when them RTKs get coming into play,
Yeah, and they got some people down there who know how to work that.
Right.
Especially with my guy Marquell. That's what he do. He's an activist. He's boots on the ground with anything that happens with African American men, women, children, whomever. If something happens concerning police brutality. And that situation, again, it was a 1-year-old child. Like, I'm big on going to read them comments, and I read some comments, and you sit there and you think like, wait a minute, did this person just really say that? Like, you have no empathy that a 1-year-old child got killed in this manner. Like, there's no way that 1-year-old child should be on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Not from gun violence.
Yeah.
Especially from an officer. We already dealing with a lot in our different communities, and for that to happen, it's more than a tragedy, bro.
Absolutely. And then it just, again, so, and that's what, when I think about the comment section, it's sometimes like the other day, last night and today, I was kind of playing around in the comment section, just responding to some people, but you know what I mean? I see that there are people who, it's people who are bored. You know what I mean? You got to think about online gaming and stuff like that. So there are some people who sit around and they get a rise out of people by just saying rude stuff, ignorant stuff, and they'll never show their faces. But like, it still is just crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see things that people see, the comments that people will put in the sections, or when tragic events take place, and it's just like everybody wants to be heard, or everybody wants to have something to say. It amazes me how bold people can be.
Listen, I posted that Carmelo Anthony post last week, and it is still going. It is still people jumping in them. It's over 300 comments on that situation with Carmelo.
Right.
Just from my page alone, it's been viewed over 15,000 times.
Right.
And people are still going on there. I'm still getting called a nigga. I'm still getting told to shut up. I'm still getting told that he guilty. Y'all don't know what y'all looking at. Like, what kills me about certain stuff, bro? People try to tell me I'm a racist. But you say racist stuff to me, so like, does that mean I'm not supposed to say anything back? I gotta say something back. It's in me, especially when it pertains to that type of issue.
I guess my question to that would be, how is it possible for you to be racist? Like, what system do you oversee? What system do you hold, or are you on top of, or you are in charge of, to where people can be like, oh, Malcolm and his ways are stopping me from advancing, or Malcolm and his ways are stopping me from progress? Because again, I think people don't understand the difference from racism and prejudice.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've had to have conversations. Me and my kids, I've talked to my kids about that. You know what I mean? And I've talked to some of my white friends, you know what I mean? And some of my friends in general. And what's interesting is people had to correct me, because I used to always be like, Black people can be racist too, until, I had to educate myself. And it took some people to, educate me on racism, systemic racism, things like that. So there was a point in time where I used to feel the same way, like, oh, Black people can be racist as well.
Right.
Until I had to educate myself a little bit more on the difference from being prejudiced.
Right.
And the difference from being racist, and understanding like how, when we talk about racism and we talk about systems and how they're designed to oppress people or keep people back, we don't have the majority of anything to be able to be racist. But I will say that there are Black people who are prejudiced, and I believe that comes from trauma. I believe that comes from people, doing history, or people having lived experiences to feel like, you can't trust a person who isn't Black, or even sometimes you can't even trust a Black person. You know what I mean? I feel like we as Black people, we have so many different trust issues, and we get called racist, and sometimes it's just prejudice because of our experiences, or because of the experiences of our grandparents, or the experience of our ancestors. And it's like, people don't understand the pent up feelings. You know what I mean? People don't understand the built up frustration, or the built up aggression, especially when people walk around with privilege and they press it on you, and they don't. That's one thing that's like crazy to me, is when people say that they don't understand privilege.
Well, they should. I understand it, and I've never had it.
Right. And I think it's because, again, we've lived those lives to where we've always had to be twice as good just to be considered.
Right.
And it's just some people who are privileged, all they got to do is show up.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you'll see people be like, oh, well, nobody ever gave me anything. I went to work for everything that I have, and I grew up poor. You know what I mean? I was on welfare and stuff like that. And I get that, because I've had white friends who grew up in the same circumstances as me. But I do know, if it was me and one of my white friends and my peers, and we was going for the job interview, I would have to be twice as good to even be considered, just because of the way that he looks.
Right.
So I think when we talk about racism, that's where I think the line gets drawn. But then when you talk about the prejudice, I believe us as Black people, we feel like, okay, we can't trust white people, or white people have kept us down, or there's always a motive, or there's always something going on. And when we project that, and when we put that information out there, we had those conversations, people label us as racist.
But I think they should understand, like, for me as a Black man, when I see so much violence going on towards Black people from cops,
right,
and we'll leave it there, because that's where we're at within our system right now. That triggers me. That does something to me, because the first thing that they say is, it's always the Black person's fault, without even doing an investigation. Like,
right.
Some of these cops, they still get to patrol the streets, and they killed somebody,
Right.
and it wasn't justified. Everything is not justified all the time.
Right. Absolutely.
And for them to just go on as life, and like, you got to have some type of conscience. I got a conscience. I know they got to have a conscience. You can't sit here and tell me that this man is in Mississippi and he killed a 1-year-old child. And
Yeah,
he
that got to be
can
eating
go
him up.
on as if
That got to be
life
eating
is
him up.
regular.
Because that's what I will say, right? I mean, and it might be frowned upon, but I think when you think about like human nature, I do believe that there are some people who do things, and when they think about it, it's like, man, I can't believe I did that. Now, I will also say there are some people who show no remorse for some of those acts.
Yes.
Some of those acts of violence, or some of those acts that are driven by race. I think it's people who feel like I was justified in what I did, but a 1-year-old child,
right?
And when you start shooting, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that, I don't believe that there should be any justification. Now, I can't say that I don't think that he's trying to justify, or she, whoever the officer is, but I do not believe that when it's a situation, something like that, that is justifiable. But I did want to ask you a question, because we was talking about racism and prejudice. And this is interesting. It just came to my mind. Is like, do you believe that there are white people who can be prejudiced but not racist? Or do you think that if a white person is prejudiced, racism comes into play with that?
I think it is, because I heard somebody speak last night before, and we're not going to get into that right now.
Right.
But I heard somebody speak, and he said he was from Albion. He said he grew up
homophobic.
Right.
And he grew up racist.
Right.
Yeah.
But then somehow
he went to the military or something like that. Yeah, he said he went to military.
So
yeah.
What you just explained is him.
Right.
It's him all day.
Right.
Because he said now some of his best friends is.
Yeah, he was saying, he said, I believe he said when his mom was going through something, like his gay friends helped, his trans friends helped, his straight white men friends weren't there. They weren't available. So I think, okay, so yeah, so then I think that takes him to, he said he was grown up racist.
Yes.
But then some of the things that he said or he talked about was prejudice, but it was prejudice towards white people.
Right. Right.
It was prejudice towards white people, because pretty much what he's saying is like, you know, where were my white friends? My white friends are supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z. They didn't show up. He judged he thought that they was going to be there for him, because that's what white people do for one another. And what he did was he come to the realization that it's probably more beneficial for him to support the underdog than it is to support the privileged, because he received more support from the quote, I'm going to say quote, the quote unquote underdog, as opposed to the privileged people.
I think we're at a day and age now where people need to pay attention. Just don't pay attention to what we're saying on these microphones. Go into some of those comments and you will see some different type of stuff. I've been heavy in them comments the last couple of days, especially down with Marquell's page, because he'll get over 1,000 comments and he will have every person from different states grinding him out because he is out there leading this charge.
Right.
So people like me will come behind him and I'll say something and I'll get that same hate from people.
Right.
As if the same way we get it here. We get that hate here is just like some of the comments we're going to discuss about what we seen last night.
Yeah, see, that's interesting. Like I said, I never really like the comment section. It'd be interesting because like you see it. And like I said, when I get into the comments, like when the Erie News Now comments, so I'll try to make a statement and get out of there. But then some of the other comments is just like, I see it as comical because people are showing their ignorance and they're trying to get a rise out of me. So I'm glad that you said that, because then we're going to talk about that a little bit. I was always curious to know, like, you know, I be seeing your stuff like, bro, going hard in them comments. Like, you know what, Malcolm going hard in them comments, but you know, you kind of explained that. But real quick, Jerry said, what jersey is that? I think that's one of the Negro League jerseys, ain't it?
Kansas City Monarchs.
Kansas City Monarchs. Said you can train a dog to have a racial bias. It's all learned via words or experiences, right? So this is not, when we talk about privilege, this is what like the other day, Donald Trump's birthday.
Right.
UFC, White House. UFC, White House, right?
I'm upset about that.
But what's crazy though is, bro, it's like Barack Obama got judged for playing basketball. This man had a fight in the lawn of the White House.
I ain't mad. I'm not mad about him doing that because he already tearing it down anyway. So he gonna do it. First of all, he's gonna do what he want to do. We know that. We seen that. He's gonna do what he want to do. It's only one thing I'm mad about, and that is that fighter when he said that about Michelle Obama.
Right. But the thing is, privilege opened the door for that.
Yes.
Right.
Mhm.
Privilege opened the door for that because, again, imagine if Barack Obama would have had, like a basketball tournament there, and he would have had somebody like, let's say, Gerald Wallace there, Rasheed Wallace. You know what I mean?
Right.
Imagine the type of things that are said during a basketball game, and imagine how he would have been scrutinized and picked apart. But as I'm paying attention, I'm seeing like it was so many people who enjoyed the UFC fight, who loved the fact that it was on the White House lawn, and like, only reason I mention that is because of the double standard of privilege.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, Barack Obama wore a tan suit, bro, and that made news like no other. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he got this suit on. It's it's disrespectful. It's unprofessional. And then the president from Ukraine came over, and they tore him apart for his suit. And I'm watching Jimmy Kimmel, and I'm seeing like, you got fighters in the Oval Office. You got fighters in all different areas of the White House, and these dudes is dressed ready for battle.
Right.
They ready for battle, right? And like, it's crazy that like this type of stuff can happen, and it's supposed to just be overlooked, or it's sports or whatever the case may be. But God forbid, we as Black people do something. If we speak too loud, we're judged.
Look,
you know what I mean? I was judged for wearing a hat at a meeting, but Donald Trump can have a fight at the White House.
UFC.
Think about that for a second, bro.
Big money flowed through there.
Huge money. And then the sponsorship. And then on top of that, like, you seen Eric Trump with the comments, like, he was trying to figure out who was going. He was trying to bet. He was trying to gamble, trying to figure out if it's rigged or whatnot. And then even Daniel Cormier came out like, oh, no, that was fake. It didn't really happen. Like, that right there just shows privilege in itself.
They're celebrating 250 years of America.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be a free event. Period. If you're celebrating for all Americans, that should be a free event. 250 years. Bro, they was selling tickets to watch it online for $8.99.
$899?
No, $8.99 is just the point that if you wanted to stream that, you had to buy it.
Yo, whoa. So Donald Trump, not only he was trying to make some money off his birthday party.
Yeah.
He was trying to make, and then I heard that they said, I guess they was telling people like, people in the service, like, you had to like be a certain physical physique and be able to pass some type of test or something like that in order to
get in,
to sit in the front, to be on the camera, right? And it's crazy again, like, so this is what I will say, because I believe that we are getting from our president what we expected. He's advocating for his friends, his people, and then he's pretty much from what I'm seeing tearing our country apart, right? But it's like, that's what we expected from him. That's the way he went in. That's the way he plans on handling things and moving things forward. So I believe that we need to start realizing and recognizing what's going on and figure out how we can pivot, because that man is just doing what he like, bro. It was a UFC fight.
So let me say this.
On the White House lawn.
He had a UFC fight. You just said he's tearing our country apart. And it's really people that think this is normal.
I mean, it has become the new. It's crazy that it has become the new norm. That man can say anything. That man can say anything, and it's people. What I've noticed, because I be watching the now, I will watch a little Jimmy Kimmel, you know what I mean, or some Jon Stewart, you know what I mean, stuff like that, because they be hitting on it, and like, legitimately, it's people who will justify anything that Donald Trump does, anything that he says, even his pool thing. Like, I seen somebody say, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. Somebody went out there and did something to the pool. Like, ain't nobody going out there and doing that to that big old pool. He spent $14 million on a pool. There's algae in there, and now it's a conspiracy, right?
They said he painted the bottom blue.
Yeah, it's painted like, some color blue to make it more reflective. They tried to blame Obama on it for it being a mess, and then it was like, okay, we're going to clean it up. Spent $14 million to paint it, clean it up, and then the joint is green.
So look, because I've been listening to Donald Trump with the war.
Okay.
I was listening to some of the people who was walking into the UFC fight, because they had people interviewing some of the people.
Right.
And, they asking them, how do you feel about the fight? A majority of people was like, this ain't about politics. I'm just here to watch the fight.
Right.
That's all. I don't care about nothing else. But then you did have a lot of people on the other side who were swinging like, yo, F y'all. This is MAGA. This is how it's going to be.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So I fast forward today, because I was I got to watch some of Obama and Michelle Obama getting there
for
the library.
Yeah.
And to see the grace and class that they carry themselves with, man, like.
And that's the thing, what they say about us. Like, we have to work twice as hard just to be considered. Because again, Donald Trump in that fight at the White House opened the door for, and I don't even know the fighter's name. We ain't finna say his name, but the comment he made.
Yeah, that was wild.
Like, Donald Trump opened the door for that right now. I'm not a married man.
Right.
But if I was,
mm-hmm.
you a married man.
Right.
Imagine a man taking this biggest stage of his life.
Look.
And coming out there and saying something like that. And then the following week, Michelle Obama and Barack Obama still show dignity and they still show what black excellence look like, because you don't come out here and call this man's woman a wife.
Come on. Even if you don't agree with what they did, how he ran his White House, it's okay. But y'all crossing the line now. Y'all call them monkeys and
right.
Come on.
And they're permitting this type of behavior, right? But then this is another thing, and I've seen a lot of this different stuff online.
Mm-hmm.
This man, this fighter, was on because it's already there. It's at the White House.
Yeah.
It's on the lawn. Got the president there. So pretty much the entire America is either watching or they will see.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the biggest platform of your life.
Biggest. You just want to fight.
The opportunity to say anything that you can possibly say. And the only thing, or not the only thing, but the thing that you felt would be most impactful and most beneficial to say is to say, Michelle Obama is a man.
And you know what?
He thought it was funny.
What hurt me, he said, "Ain't that right, America?"
He thought it was funny.
What?
Listen, it was even racist comedians who was like, yeah, no, that wasn't a good one.
No.
Because and then even on top of that, because some people say comedy, even when you go to the roast,
mm-hmm.
like some jokes die. And they were saying that for quite some time, a long time ago. And it's just like, you trying to bring this back to life, bro, after you just won the fight of your life. And I'm wondering what that's going to do for his career. And for his future, because Donald Trump has fired people on his team after they advocated and rallied for him. And you were just a fighter and you just happen to feel like you had the right to say something because this is where you fought and you think that it's going to be okay.
I think in that moment, the person who was interviewing him was supposed to say something. He had the microphone. He was supposed to say.
Think about the platform, though, bro. Think about if he would have told that man, yo, you tripping, you can't say that in the middle of a ring in Donald Trump's White House, surrounded by Donald Trump's crew.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it'd have been too many people to be bold enough to be like, yo, don't say that.
I just think it's absurd that the green light is always green. It's never a red light with Donald Trump. Everything is for go. Next subject.
So listen, right, and that's what's crazy though, bro, is like when I see that, and this is what I will say, and this is probably wrong or this is probably ignorant, but then it's just kind of like, I wish Obama would have went in there like that. You know what I mean? Like, because Trump literally went to the office and like, I'm for my people. I don't care who don't like it. It's MAGA. And we're going to take care of these people until he start not taking care of the people. Like, because there's people who is screaming for Trump just because they ain't know no better. But imagine if when Obama got in there, he was like, okay, you know what? We finna all black everything. We changing the rule. So again, like, it'd be like, to me, and I know this is probably like an unfavorable or unpopular opinion. It's just like Donald Trump went there advocating for his folk.
Look,
I wonder if we could play it back and rewind it. If Barack Obama went there and be like, we finna all black everything.
Look, his first term, you probably could have dealt with that better than this second term. This second term, he already had it in his mind. Like, look,
I'm going in there
when I go in here, this is guns blazing.
Listen. He said, open your bags. It's trick or treat time.
Yeah.
It's bag time. I'll make sure we line everybody's pockets, my friends, my family. He sued the government, tried to pay the January 6 people. Like, it's so many different things that took place to where when you see it, it's just kind of like, yeah, we don't like it.
Look,
but to play devil's advocate, yeah, we don't like it.
Right.
But then on the flip side, it's like, man, look, we now we want to turn to be able to do that.
He took January 6th and flipped it as if the people protecting the Capitol was the bad people.
Listen, and he's the president.
And people believe that.
Yeah,
and then in the next breath, he is saying, I am backing the blue. And then in the next breath, the people who stormed the Capitol All right, they're out of jail. They waiting on a settlement.
No,
check.
I think they scratched that. They scratched the settlement. I think they trying to figure out somehow, some way to get some of the rich folks who lost some money. But I do believe they let that go. But this is what I will say. Because when you think about some of these behaviors of our president, and you think about like some of the messages that he puts out there, it starts to trickle down. You know what I mean? It goes from the presidents to, the governors to even our local elected officials, to where like some of these behaviors that are displayed on a national level or on a presidential level, it trickles down and then gets displayed on a local level. Because, and we talked about this last week.
Yeah.
And we talked about Ed Brzezinski, and we talked about the comment that Ed Brzezinski made to Dr. Tyler Titus. Dr.
Right.
Tyler Titus is the president of the city council. Dr. Tyler Titus, excuse me, that's like a tongue twister saying that, but it's trans man. Pronouns are they and them. Ed Brzezinski is aware of this. Everybody in the city of Erie is aware of this. So, there are some people who want to play games, who want to pick fun, or whatever the case may be. But what I will say is Tyler has stood tall, been very courageous, and they have always been able to stand up for themselves.
Right.
At the meeting, it was a study session for the marketplace initiative, or whatever the case is. Dr. Titus was first. This is what took place first, just to recap, catch everybody up. And this is what bothered me the most. Andre Horton and Ed Brzezinski, they kind of had like a back and forth. And then what I did learn is, and I know this is going to be unfavorable, but what I was told and what I've learned was Ed was right for saying some of the things that he said. I guess it was more or less the delivery. But then to play devil's advocate, Andre was asking questions, and he doesn't speak for himself. He speaks for everybody. So the questions that he asked, if you got the opportunity to ask questions, ask the questions. I guess from what I'm learning, what I'm seeing is that wasn't the time or wasn't the meeting, because it was they had already had different opportunities to have those conversations. But I'm never going to say Dre was wrong or he was tripping, especially on that one. And I'm not going to say never will say Dre is wrong. Let me correct that, because I don't want people to take that the wrong way.
Right.
Me and Andre have a personal relationship, and I've texted him and told him, yo, when I'm wrong, correct me. And he texted me back and told me the exact same thing.
Right.
So we do have that kind of relationship. So to clear that up, what I will say is he asked questions. He asked questions for information, maybe not for himself, maybe for some of his constituents. Ed said some things to Andre, so they both were out of order from what I'm hearing, and I just bought Robert's Rules of Order and just started listening to it. So that came to play. And what happened was, so when Dr. Titus was calming them down, they said, this has to stop. Ed Brzezinski said, yes, President. Heard that.
Yeah.
And then Dr. Titus, they were giving their I don't know what it's called. I'm studying, I'm still reading.
Right.
But as they're giving their last little spiel, Ed Brzezinski chimed in, said something. Dr. Titus is like, hey, it's not your turn to speak. He's like, oh, well, you called on me, whatever. Like, well, now's not the time. Don't say that. Yes, ma'am. So then it was just like, what?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
you were shocked.
What?
You had to double back and say,
and Tyler was even like, what? You know what I mean? So then that was a thing. It turned into a thing, and the news drug it out.
Yeah.
We drug it out. People drug it out. But it was just like, okay, let's get to this next meeting, because I'm curious to see how it goes. But going back to what I originally said, like, what do you think, or how do you feel the things that are going on at a national level play a role in what's going on the local level, to where people feel like they can act like that?
Because we see the trickle down effect. Like, some of these people locally act like the president. I mean, they basically saying first of all, we're gonna go back to the green light, because he's gave a green light for people to act this way. So people think there's no consequences, because who in the president's camp is getting consequence? Only ones getting consequence is the ones that he put on punishment.
Right.
It ain't like the law can't punish nobody. He can punish the law.
Right.
So you're starting to see here the very people who support him, and they're moving the way he moving.
Ed Brzezinski is a registered Democrat.
Okay.
Just wanted to throw that out there. Do you think he's still acting as a Democrat?
Me personally, I think he's stuck in his ways. He can be a Democrat and still act that way. Not all Republicans act that way.
Right. Okay.
So I just believe he's an older gentleman. He's stuck in his ways of how he came up, and he got that. I don't give a fuck
Yeah.
how I say it, what I say, either you like it or you don't. And by what he said, you can see an outpouring of people in our community who absolutely feel the same way he do. I
Yeah.
told you, I've been in them comments.
Listen, man, I was seeing it. I watched it. Like I said, I seen, everybody when it first happened, and I got, you was like, oh, bro, this took place. And I'm like, is it, how true is it? Then when I found out it was true, I was like, okay, well, let's kind of dive into this a little bit, because what I will say is Dr. Tyler Titus has always been accessible to me. And then we were going through everything that we were trying to get justice for Cello. Dr. Titus has always made themselves accessible. Even on the level of city council, I do believe that they were one of the people who had the most to say when it came to elected officials. A lot of people were kind of like, I don't want anything to do with this, or we're going to wait till the investigation. And Tyler was rolling their gloves up. Like, what do we have to do? I'll do what I can within my capacity without being unethical, without being unprofessional, without overstepping any boundaries. And when I seen that from Tyler, I'm like, they all in. Got to rock with them, regardless of the case may be. And then most recently, I had a conversation with Tyler, and we was walking around the neighborhood. We went down the way. We 7th and Ash, you know what I mean? 7th and Parade. We met on 7th and Parade. We had a little talk conversation. And this is what I asked Dr. Titus. And I ask a lot of people who I rock with, like when it comes to like boots on the ground in the trenches, I'm like, yo, would you die for the things that you believe in?
Right.
And there have been people I've asked that question. They'll give you the look, or they're like, oh, why are you asking me that? Or some people are like, oh, that's a bit much. But it was Tyler like, absolutely. Absolutely. I understand what I'm going on. I've lost too many friends. I need too many trans friends, and I've advocated for too many people in the community. The suicide rate is high for trans people. Absolutely. And what's crazy is I had that conversation with Tyler like maybe 2 days before the Brzezinski thing. You know what I mean? Because I seen him like, hey, man, I understand, people have fights, and some fights you really don't want to hop into because you don't know who you fighting with.
Right.
But they're like, yeah, I'm willing to die about this.
So look, going into that initially, because we spoke to each other. So I initially was going in to speak about the situation. But one thing I always said, and I've been saying it lately, and I'm gonna stand on it. I've been willing to sit down and not say anything and just listen and try to understand different people. And last night was an eye opener to a lot of stuff that I wasn't paying attention to, especially within that Pacific community, because I did not know that they was as deep as they was.
What? Man, listen, the moment that when I found out Ed said that, and then I seen the clip, I already knew what it was going to be. I already knew what it was going to be, bro. And I'm not going to hold you, right? And this could be a little childish or a little immature of me. I was happy. Because Ed has said things about me, like, but he said it in a slick way. You know what I mean? Like, because, you get a public comments, they don't respond to you.
Right.
And then when they get to get their little spills, he said slick stuff about me, like during when we was down there trying to get justice for Cello.
Right.
He said slick stuff about me anytime that I'm speaking, because they feel like, oh, here comes this guy again. Excuse me, here comes this guy again. He's coming to run his mouth. You know what I mean? So it was like, when he did that, he made that mistake. I'm like, oh, he picked the wrong fight.
See. And it's funny because all those meetings that we went to during us going down for justice for Cello, I never really paid attention to him. My attention was always on somebody else. So I didn't know that was his character. And, I'm only a year in. So I never really paid attention to him until...
Who is that? My fault.
Ed.
Okay.
I never paid attention to him. I never paid attention to his demeanor. And again, I was going to speak yesterday, but there was so many people lined up. I just said, you know what? I'm going to just sit back and listen. So what I was able to do is go in the comments in real time as people are going up speaking and looking at the pushback from them speaking.
Right.
So one thing I will give Ed credit is he has backing.
Listen, I don't agree with that. The reason why I say I don't agree with that is because nobody came for him. And this is one thing, right? I was there when when Jasmine Flores had made those comments about Donald Trump,
Mhm.
and she said what she said,
They in the comments.
they went in the comment section. They was coming for that lady, and they came.
They came to
listen, bro.
council.
They came to council, meeting packed, red hatted up, calling for a job, telling her to resign, calling her all kind of racist, bigots, and they was calling this woman every name in the book. Like, and it was a whole brigade of people who came down for this movement. And they came a couple times. And I remember this because I was down there when it was going. I'm like, yo, y'all not finna keep doing this to this lady. And I did it in the most respectful manner possible. But so when you think about the support that we think Ed has, if they do support him,
online support,
they're not willing to support him as publicly as those people who are willing to support whoever initiated the Jasmine Flores shouldn't have said what she said movement. And I know who initiated. I ain't gonna say I know who initiated, but there was one person who played a big role in it, and that individual has a following to bring those people. And I believe that individual would have been able to be like, you know what, we support Ed Brzezinski and let's go down here. So people were in the comments about Ed Brzezinski, but there was not one person that grabbed that mic and said, you know, I appreciate what you said, Ed, or I agree with you.
You know what's funny? And I'm gonna go back to the comments in real time because a lot of people have fake pages. So I want to be very clear with these fake pages.
Right.
These are your teachers. These are your doctors. These are your lawyers. These are some of your nurses in Erie County.
Yeah.
Making fake pages.
Right.
Going in because they can't stand on their word about what they're saying to support him.
So let me ask you this question, bro.
Go.
Why do you pay so much attention to the comments? And why do you feel like you got to battle with the people in the comments?
I don't really battle, but I like to see different opinions because I'm opinionated. So if I go in, if I see something I don't like, I go in and I comment.
Okay.
So that's why I go in.
Got you.
But yesterday was just, the comment was hot. Like Dre said, when we was going down to county council, that they coming in hot with them fastballs.
Man.
That's how last night was.
Listen, it was crazy. The meeting last night was crazy. But yeah, so I didn't get a chance to, my phone was dying. You know, as I was sitting there and I'm paying attention to everything. And I'm like, you know, I be having to have my own timer. So I'm getting messages, I'm getting inbox, you know, text messages, inbox messages, people trying to call me, and I'm trying to follow and pay attention. But like, it was like, again, when you said like you didn't think that many people was gonna come out, like I definitely knew. And that's why I made it. When I made the status, when we talked about it, I'm like, I'm curious to see how many people are gonna be at this meeting, because I knew it was gonna be packed like that.
I did not expect that to be. How many people you think was in there?
I mean, I would say 200.
200 people.
I would say 200 people. It was people. The room was filled. It was people waiting outside, bro. The line never got short until like, and then the guy, I don't know what's his, I don't know if he's the secretary or whatever, but he said 58 people spoke. And Julia counted 56 people signing in. I didn't sign in. I don't ever really sign in, but 58 people spoke. And like, there was a lot of people who was, that timer was going off. Like Dr. Titus had to be like, time. So like, when you see all of that, it's just like, yo, you barked up the wrong tree.
58 people have 5 minutes of walk.
I don't think everybody used 5 minutes, but I didn't go up and speak until 10:05, I believe it was, and I was person 57.
10:05.
Because I waited. I sat there and I waited for everybody to talk, and I'm listening, I'm paying attention, and I'm reading the body language, Ed, right? And I was up there, I'm taking pictures of
that heat was heavy.
Taking pictures, I'm recording them because like it was certain times where he's like, it was people who were talking, you could tell that he didn't care what they had to say, or they were striking nerves, or you know what I mean, stuff like, especially when I said Abdullah was talking to him, he paused, waited for him to get his attention.
Well, Abdullah walked over like, you gonna look at me.
Somebody asked him to turn his phone over. Then when somebody challenged him, like as he was sitting there, I think it was Julia. He opened the wrapper, so she like, you know, can I get your attention? And then after that, he like gave her like a smirk, and then I think he took it upon him. Okay, well now I'm gonna stand up, throw it in the trash can and all of that. And again, I'm not knocking him in for this. Is what I will say, right? A lot of people aren't gonna like this. A lot of people aren't gonna like this. I am happy that he did not apologize.
Me too.
Because I'm not one of those people, like if I say something, I mean something, I say things with intention. If I say something that's gonna hurt somebody's feeling, I want it to sting.
Right.
So I'm not gonna apologize just because everybody's calling for me to apologize. And what I'm not gonna do is bow down to a group of people who feel like they're gonna shame me into apologizing. Again, I don't care who doesn't like what I have to say about that, because I know that's gonna be unfavorable. And I also like the fact that he did not resign. Because in Pennsylvania, we can't force him to. We can't sign a petition. We can't float a petition to get him to resign. We can't get him to step down. We can't do nothing like that. So what I will say about him is he held his ground.
Yes, he absolutely did.
As a man, he held his ground.
Yes, he
did. Stood in his position. He said what he had to say. He stood 10 toes on it, and I guess he's willing to take whatever comes with that.
And he's standing. I watched him. His body language was up and down.
Right.
Some people, he was laughing at them.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at him laughing.
Yeah.
Some people, he was on his phone and he was like, phone from here.
Man, I seen him up there coloring.
Look. So that shows you what type of person he is. And he has people that is vouching for him that he's a good man.
See, I didn't see that.
And yes.
I have it. Again, maybe it's because I'm being.
There's people in the comments like, everybody is going at Ed, and he is a good man.
Right.
So you got to take it with a grain of salt.
But this is the thing, too. I believe because, again, I'm sure, well, I don't know, but he has a teacher. He's been a teacher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm pretty sure that he's had some positive impacts because everybody knows how I feel about Coach DePaulo, and I'm pretty sure there are plenty of people who don't like Coach DePaulo. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's had an impact on a lot of people's lives to where people can say he was a good man or he has done so many good things. But
look here, old school ways.
That's what it is. I honestly think it's a baby boomer mindset who never had to deal with trans people being so open about it. Yeah. Never had to deal with gay people being so open about it. Never had to deal with somebody telling him what to do. And that's why when I made the comments I made to him is like your privilege is showing is because what he's showing is he's not willing to educate himself on the way the world is moving or the way the world is working right now. He's not willing to be open to different people's way of life because, in my opinion, he believes things should go a certain way. My issue with that is, as a city council person, there is not a district that you represent, so you represent the city at large.
Absolutely.
My issue is not that he should be fair for all people. My issue is how many people think like that, support what he does and support what he says, and are still in positions that have influence on the lives of others.
Right.
Because there are 7 city council people, and there's about 93,000 people who live in the city of Erie. Now, the mayor is in charge of the city of Erie, and the people of the city, and the city council people are in charge of the infrastructure. So you think about the infrastructure, that's parks, you know what I mean? That's redevelopment, that's zoning, that's blight, you know what I mean? That's law enforcement, that's the fire department and stuff like that. So then it kind of makes me wonder, how many decisions has Ed made, or how many people has he put in a position to continue to act, think, move, and feel the way that he does?
Look, my thing, and I said it last week, when he said it last week, if he didn't apologize by that next meeting, there was no need to apologize because he was not apologizing.
He ain't apologizing.
Nobody was going to force him to do anything. He was going to stand on his business.
Bro, that's a stubborn old white man. And again, I will say I respect that. People are not going to like that I'm saying that, but I respect the fact that Ed Brzezinski did not apologize.
Look, I said earlier, I'm glad he didn't apologize because it gave me a chance to see how other people think. Like, people wasn't leaving one word answers in the comments. They was writing books in there.
I was going back and forth with some folks. Like, I will say that though, last night, because I was when I left there, you know, I was still a little amped up. So I'm like, let me go to this joint, because they was in there till about 11:30.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I seen the comments and I seen people like, oh, Deontay's got his hat. And then Bill Ryan, you know, Bill used to be my buddy, and then I had to block him after he got a little crazy. But people sending me screen, but what about the hat that he's wearing? And I'm like, hey, what about what I'm saying? Because this is what I will say about my hat, and I want this to be clear. When we go into that meeting, and I got my hat on, when they say, okay, let's all stand and we're going to give a moment of silence for those who have lost their lives, and we are going to pledge allegiance to this flag, I remove my hat.
Right.
I put it on my side. I don't even put my hat over my heart. I put my hand over my heart, put it to my side. Reason being, my grandfather's World War II vet. I have friends who retired from the military. I have people who I know who have died fighting for this country. I understand that. I seen the comments earlier, like that flag doesn't represent us, but that flag represents the country that we live in. We are living here. We are striving to be a part of things that are going on. So I remove my hat for the Pledge of Allegiance. I remove my hat when we do a moment of silence for the people who have lost, if that's military people, if that's local people who have had an impact on the community, or anybody that they want to recognize. I show my respect by removing my hat for those moments. But take away the hat. What did I say that was wrong?
Nothing. if you showed your locks, you would have still said what you said. So
Right.
it don't matter. So let me ask you this, because I also thought about this. I seen a number of people that went down there, and that's a lot of people to speak.
Yeah, 58.
So I'm gonna take it, and I want your honest opinion. When we initially started going, and you've been going,
Right.
but I'm gonna say from the initial start of when we started Justice for Cello,
Right.
and we was going in there speaking, and we went consistently every week, city and county council meeting. Do you think that we put a little battery in those people that went up there to speak last night? Do you think that because of what we was doing
Okay.
down there,
Okay.
do you think that gave some of those people, because a lot of those people never been to city or county council,
Right.
and they went up there to fight for
Right.
something they believe in, just like we're fighting for something we believe in.
Right.
But in my personal opinion is a lot of what I see was started from me, you, Terry,
Absolutely.
Jerry,
Absolutely.
and everybody else who was going in and voicing their opinion.
Absolutely. I mean, and again, like, I think it's a good thing, but absolutely, because again, when we were talking, it was like protest, protest, protest. And I'm like, listen, we need to take this to a place in a space where it matters, where elected officials are, where you can get those public comments and it goes on record. And Jared said a total amount of people there was like, because that very first time we went there, I believe it was more people at the meeting than it was at the meeting last night. But last night, more people spoke.
Yes.
So over time, what I think people realized was, okay, this is a way, you know what I mean, to get people to pay attention. And then 5 uninterrupted minutes, as long as I keep my decorum.
Mm-hmm.
So I do believe that we laid the foundation for it. I do believe that people realized some of the stuff that was going on. I think people were like, oh, wow, look at the attention that these people are getting. It's getting news coverage. You know what I mean? It's all over social media. It's getting national coverage. They're calling out elected officials. They're calling out the district attorney. It went so far, bro. We was calling out the coroner.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we was calling out everybody. And I think as people are watching, as people are paying attention, they were like, okay, these people who are coming to these meetings, they are making noise. They're going to city council meetings. They're going to county council meetings. They're having protests. You know what I mean? They're having different things in the community. So I think when people saw that and they saw how much attention it got and how big it grown and how the support was growing, I think people are looking at that now like this is the blueprint. And then that's why I said what I said, like, I love the fact that people go, because I ran for city council. If I would have won, I wouldn't have wanted to sit there for 6 hours, bro.
Ooh.
I wouldn't have wanted to be there for 6 hours. So then it gets to the point to where after that meeting, we went back to reconvene and I would have talked to the rest of the council. I'd be like, yo, we got to figure out what we need to do so these meetings can run smooth, because I'm not trying to sit here for 6 hours. And I think people are starting to understand that now. If we go down here and if we go to these meetings and we figure out ways to deliver our message to where we hold them up, then we hold them up. So like, I believe we pioneered that movement, because I've been going to this thing for years. It's been times where it's been me, Freda, and like 2 other people at a city council meeting. County council meetings, Andre used to beg us to come down there. And we used to go, me and Big, Sherrod, we used to always go down there just to pay attention to listen. And was like, those meetings be 10, 15 minutes.
Look, you know, I knew it was big when I seen Rock Copeland go in there and Rock got on the mic to speak.
Hey, yeah, he killed it too.
I said, look
he
at
killed
this.
It.
This is a county council member coming into city council chambers to voice his opinion. And his words were very valid.
Yeah.
Very valid.
And this is the thing too, what I liked about what Rock had to say is like how I received the message as opposed to how he delivered it, because I believe that it was a nice way for him to tell Ed that you was dead wrong.
Yeah.
Because he also said, like, I don't always agree with Charlie Bell, but I don't disrespect Charlie Bell. And Charlie Bell doesn't disrespect me. So he pretty much let him know, like, listen, on a whole different level, right across the street, we don't even do this. Like, and then people are like, you acting like a kid. One thing that stood out to me that I thought was kind of funny was when the girl said, you know, Ed Brzezinski, you are now the mascot for Pride Month in Erie. Like, imagine taking what they call a misogynistic, homophobic, transphobic man and telling him, you are now the mascot of Pride Month in Erie. How insulting could that be, bro? Imagine like if they did like a poster and they like Ed Brzezinski that thing out, like our mascot and whatever, they rainbowed his earrings or whatever. And this is another thing I say too, right? And I don't know how ironic it was this morning. I was walking my dog this morning, bro. Look up in the sky and it's a rainbow. So I'm just like, yo, I would imagine taking a beating. That's why I put it in my story. Imagine taking a beating from the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
It's Pride Month. The colors of the rainbow is pretty much your symbol. You take this beating, this tongue lashing, and all of these different things, and then you wake up in the morning and look outside, and it's a rainbow just arched over your house, like smiling at you, like
they took their belts off.
Oh my God, bro, it was crazy.
I wonder, because I don't think he was expecting. I knew he was expecting some backlash, but I don't think he was expecting the backlash that came for him last night. I wasn't expecting.
I don't know how. I do not know how, bro.
I wasn't looking at 60 plus people getting on that microphone.
Listen, bro, I got there early for a parking spot and for a seat because I knew what it was about to be.
Bro, somebody came in with their CNI dog. Somebody came in there with a wheelchair. Like,
listen, bro, how about the boy? What does he say his name was? Franco Harris.
Yeah.
Did the perforate the spin, the drop on the floor and all of that? Like, that was out the gate. Listen, man, that was crazy. Like, it was crazy. But I expected that. I thought it was gonna be a little bit more extreme. That could be me just being judgmental, but I was expecting it to be way more people having They was nice to it.
But and again, that was one of those moments where I said, look, I ain't speaking.
Listen, bro.
I'm gonna take this in.
Listen, bro.
And I'm gonna listen to what these people gotta say.
I was expecting that to be I got a gate, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, and this everybody will probably his mouth, like he got the smartest mouth ever, and he don't play that. He don't take nothing from nobody. So I was expecting heat.
When I first went in working at Crossroads, I worked.
Mm-hmm.
The HIV/AIDS department. So I've worked with a lot of people in the gay community, like Michael Mailer from the Erie Gay News. And them. I've been to places where they didn't have parties because we were there setting up shop to give out what we needed to give out for safe sex. I never experienced anything like yesterday out of all those years that I worked in that field.
Right.
I wasn't expecting that.
Man.
And they can, like, all I can think about is Dre saying they coming in hot with these fastballs.
Listen, I was expecting it to look way bigger than what it was. Mm-hmm. I really thought they was gonna be in that joint all night, public comments all night. But this is what I will say, right? Because not to leave it too heavy on that and to overshadow Juneteenth, because I believe that is what's going on. Tomorrow is Juneteenth.
Before we go, I got one question that I need to ask you.
What's that?
You can answer this. They were saying a lot about him being either resigning or getting censored.
Right.
Can you explain what being censored means?
Pretty much like stripping him of his responsibility, because you can't make him resign.
Okay.
Like, so a city council person, it's Pennsylvania, you're elected into the state. You're elected and the people picked you there. So the only way that he would leave is if he was resigned. So censorship pretty much means like the president is going to silence him, from having things to say, public comments. We won't be able to go speak to Ed. He might be removed from all of the committees that he's on, or he's the liaison on. They might remove him from all of that. So it's pretty much like a public shaming. Okay. I guess that's the nicest way to say it.
So it's like what they did to the guys in Memphis.
I'm not sure.
They had two black reps when they did the redistricting. They spoke up and they got censored.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So then, again, I forgot what I was gonna say when you asked me that. Wow. So the Juneteenth thing, right? So this is like I don't know how I feel about this, but what I will say is I know that I've been very hard on Mo Troop down there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very hard. I coming at Mo for years. Last night, I feel like Mo stepped up. Even prior to the meeting, when I was going through the agenda, I did see like Mo sponsored a resolution for Juneteenth to be recognized in Erie.
Right.
I also know he's sponsored some other things in the past, but he's just been so quiet about the things that he's doing that I'm just like, bro, speak up. But last night, there was supposed to be a presentation for the Erie Juneteenth events and stuff like that, and the presentation didn't happen for whatever reason. And Mo Troop, like, hold on, before we do anything, like, let me cover this one. Let me recognize what's going on. Let me recognize who's doing it. Let me give you the times and places based off the information that he could research. So that was like one of those moments where Mo like, hold on, wait, we ain't skipping black people today.
Right.
We're not skipping black people today, right? Because it was important. That portion of the city council meeting, this is what I will say. So when you think about like the gay, straight, queer community, LGBTQ plus IA, that's one of the most supportive group of individuals, period. Like loving, caring, and fierce, and will fight and stuff like that, right? So there was an opportunity for us to educate them about Juneteenth.
Right.
There was an opportunity to gain some support about Juneteenth. There was an opportunity for us to have them on the mic, public comments, just making sure that that was recognized. So I believe that Mo realized this is a perfect opportunity for me to put this information out there because there's a room full of people who could potentially support this.
Yeah.
So let's recognize it. And then even the sponsorship of the, the resolution. And that's why I spoke to it too. And I'm glad that Abdullah said it. And then some of the other ladies who were coming up there who were saying they were from the LGBTQ community, they were up there saying, oh yeah, and let's not forget about Juneteenth.
Yeah.
And let's recognize Juneteenth and let's make sure that we're there to celebrate that because that is important, right? But like, it's important for me. Oh man, I'm having a difficult time saying this. It's important for, this is what I will say. When opportunity is provided for black people to take up space, it is important for us as black people to show up.
Yes. Look.
It is important for us to take advantage of those opportunities. And I wish that that information could have been passed somewhere to where it's like, okay, well, somebody text Angela and tell her to send us the slideshow real quick and let's see if we can get it uploaded because we've been down there yelling and screaming like, what about us? What about us? And the opportunity was presented for us. And then it was like, so again, thank you, Mo Troop, for filling this slot. Thank you, Mo Troop, for taking advantage of the opportunity to plug in the Erie's Juneteenth celebration organization, Erie, Pennsylvania. Thank you for taking our time and the opportunity to plug in Erie's Black Wall Street, for the things that they're doing. And I misspoke. And that's another reason why I wish that somebody would have been there because I said that town hall meeting or that chat discussion was Sunday and it actually happened today.
It's today.
It's probably going on right now or it may have just ended. But again, it was an opportunity for us to put all of that information out there. So shout out to Mo Troop for stepping up and putting that information out there because I believe that we need to be giving people a history lesson on Juneteenth. We need to be giving people a history lesson on how we celebrate, and we need to be we need to be educating people on how they can celebrate unapologetically and not be afraid to embrace who they are as individuals of black people, black people.
I think you got to understand that right now, big government is trying to strip black people of being black. And I must just say it for what it is. Like they don't want you to vote. They're telling you that your vote doesn't count. We're going to redistrict this and we're going to strip all these black areas where all these black people vote at and we're going to make it hard for y'all. Like, I don't think people understand that people really died for us to have voting rights.
Right.
And I just see Gary them walking across the
Raymond
Pettis
They're walking
Bridge
Black
today.
History. Yeah, shout out to Gary Horton for the walking the Black History trip.
I think our community and other communities need to understand, like, they are trying to strip us. They don't even want you to celebrate Juneteenth. They don't care about this holiday. They want you to celebrate July 4th or America's 250. So this is more incentive for us to go out and show people our heritage and understand what we black people bring a lot to this country. They've brought a lot to this country.
Still are.
Half the stuff that people don't realize that's essential, a black person invented that. A black person invented the stoplight. Like, people need to understand that. People need to understand, like, this whole weekend, they have acts coming up here that's free. You have free entertainment. People that was on the radio when I was coming up, you got Intro, you got Allure, you got a couple other people, and you got your own local artists who are going to be performing all throughout this weekend. And we need to celebrate this as if it was.
And this is what I will say to that too, right? Because tomorrow is Juneteenth. And I believe that Erie's Black Wall Street is having I believe they're having their cruise tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow.
But what I want people to understand is we don't have to leave it exclusively to organizations who are having these celebrations. Because again, if we're talking black people, if we're talking us being free as black people, we don't need anybody to organize how we celebrate.
Nope.
We don't need anybody to put something together to say, okay, you guys need to go here for this celebration or you are not black. What we need to do is show up for one another. So if people are having barbecues in the park, like I know Quan and all them, they used to do the free Sunday, the BLE or free Sundays. Like
Mhm.
I would love to see the Roger Young Park lit tomorrow.
Jump.
I would love to see McKinley Park lit tomorrow. I would love to ride across West 2nd Street and see 2nd Street Park lit tomorrow. Like everywhere. And Perry Square. I would love to see people coming and going to and from Perry Square, celebrating, going to all of the different events. I want to see people throwing their own events because I think we need to get out of the mindset of us being controlled or us having to move as one group or one organization, because sometimes there are people who don't agree with everybody. So then we feel like we're left out and we can't celebrate.
Right.
So for Juneteenth is tomorrow. It is not Saturday.
No,
it's not Sunday. Juneteenth is
tomorrow.
June 19th.
Yep.
Why it's called Juneteenth, June 19th. So we starting this, we might kick this thing off at midnight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a weekend celebration.
I ain't a fireworks person, but hopefully for the fireworks people, they letting the fireworks off and you know what I mean? They doing all of that good stuff because again, it is important for us to be celebrating our Black heritage. And I appreciate the fact that we are being recognized locally. Like I said, again, shout out to Mo Troop for sponsoring the resolution, because again, that's important for us to understand who we are, for us to be able to celebrate ourselves, and for us to be able to love on one another, and for us to build up our community, right?
Look, I'm big on this. I took off work about this.
There we go.
And I'm going to stand on it because of the simple fact that, again, they are trying to strip this away from us.
When you say that, what do you mean when you say that? Because you said it a couple. I've never heard that.
When I say that, I mean that they don't want.
Who is that? Who are they first and foremost?
The Trump administration does not want you celebrating anything Black.
Okay.
If you pay attention to Washington tomorrow, he's not about to talk about Juneteenth. He's not going to honor anything about Blackness. This is fact. He's showing us who he is. He doesn't want you celebrating. So we need to be celebrating. Like, it's as clean as, I can't say it no different way. He does not want us celebrating this holiday. In his eyes, this is not a holiday. You don't deserve a day off. They took, I believe some jobs was given days off for this. And
yeah. I remember when I was at working at Mercier's.
You got that day off?
No, I mean, I think I did the first year, and the second year was like, okay, this is like a swing holiday. Like you can use it if you want to, but everybody, like, we're not closed this day. Like if you want, this is like a birthday holiday, like one of those drinks you could bank and you could use it for later.
Right.
But we're still going to be open as an institution.
But and that goes back to what I was saying. Like,
right.
I never really fully understand it because it came out of the blue. But I understand history.
Right.
And then they're like, okay, Juneteenth, you ain't got to work. But I had to work. And I'm sitting here like, wait a minute.
Right.
If this is a holiday, what am I doing here?
Working? I wonder how many people got to go to work tomorrow that probably don't want to be here or probably ain't realizing this is a national holiday. Somebody asked me, was the bank closed? You know, I'm like, it should be.
It absolutely should be.
It should be. It should be.
But again, we need to keep educating about this because
absolutely.
a lot of Black young people don't understand what Juneteenth is.
And I will say this, when it comes to Juneteenth, I listen to Mornings Curated by Marcus every morning on Black Says, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Marcus been dropping some gems.
Mm-hmm.
He been like, I learned a lot just from listening to that show, not only about Juneteenth, but about Erie history. He been talking about the community centers. He been talking about us as people and how we can come together, how we can build and unite. And then he had Angela McNair on there talking about June. I believe this whole month or these whole first 2 weeks of Black Sets was all dedicated to Juneteenth because this is a big deal. This is serious, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like, so when you think about that, not to take it away, because the launch party for Black Sets is the week after the Juneteenth celebration. Now, Juneteenth is tomorrow, Friday, the 19th. The Juneteenth celebration for the Erie Juneteenth Celebration Organization is the 20th. Mm-hmm. Then the following week, the 27th, is the Black Sets Media launch party, right?
Right.
What's your thoughts on that? How you feeling about that? I know they was doing, Davina, because it's part of the Divinely Crown is hosting the event,
right?
And I know she was doing some ticket giveaways, for people to like the page, to subscribe to it, to share it in this, share a screenshot of them downloading in the comments. So, like, what's your thoughts on Black Sets Media, Black Media, and then even the launch party? What do you want to see that? What do you want it to look like? I'm even seeing that joint too. I ain't tell everybody that, but someone be on the stage.
I think I want to see Black excellence.
Right.
That's what we talk about. We part of it. I want to meet the people that he got involved. It ain't just us involved with it. It's a whole host of other people. So I want to mingle. I want to see who comes, who's paying attention to this radio format, who's listening, because you don't get a chance to go out and see people who is tuning in.
Right.
You know, I do get a couple here and there. Like we listen to the show on Monday, and we like what y'all doing, and you know, we still explaining, like we're still learning the process of presenting ourselves in a different format.
Right.
So with this, I think it's good that we can get dressed up and we can go kick it for a minute and we can mingle. I'm taking my wife. She got her gold already.
Okay.
She ready. She got her stuff together. I got to get my stuff together.
I ain't got my stuff either. I'm last minute with it.
Me too.
Okay.
I think this is it's going to be a great experience to experience Blackness. This is all about Blackness.
And from what I'm getting, it's gonna be a show as well, because there's some artists who are gonna be performing. You know what I mean? To be coming to the stage to do, you know, drop some of the information. I mean, not information, to share some of their music, and then it's gonna be a vote. So it's a contest, it's a competition. And then whatever artist gets the, you know, the most votes, then they'll be able to have what they call a residency on Black Access. So now what we're doing is what Marcus is doing at Black Access Media is he's opening the door for local artists to be able to have their music played on the radio station. But I do like what you said too, when you said like having the opportunity to meet people who are listening to you. Because it's like you can see, like right now, you know, it's 6 people watching. I'm pretty sure if I were to get on for myself, it would tell me who was watching with me. You know what I mean? And you got people in the comments. Only people who've been commenting is Jared, Manny, Emmett said something, and Craig. You know what I mean? For the most part. So it's like we know who's watching us or paying attention to us on social media. So I'm curious to know, like, who's gonna show up to the party who maybe we've never saw, we've never met, or is going to be like, oh, I love your show, or I'm tired of your show. Because that's the thing too. I want that constructive criticism, that feedback for people to be like, yeah, that's corny, or that ain't good, or I love what you're doing, because like I don't want a bunch of yes people around me, and I don't want everybody agreeing with everything.
Absolutely not. And again, I ain't never done this before. I've spoken freely, but I haven't been in front of a microphone and headphones on, and we going back and forth, busting it up and talking about situations that we going through. Like, you know, we just had a show a couple of weeks ago where I put it on the line about what I'm going through in some of my home life.
Right.
So, and we got a good response for that. So I'm definitely, again, I think people need to go get your Sunday best for a Saturday night. Come out. It's a 4 or 5 hour event. They got hors d'oeuvres, they got drinks going on, and you're going to get to meet everybody who is involved with Black Access, whether it's in front of the camera, on the radio, or just a person behind the scenes making everything roll.
Yeah, because I'll be listening and I'll be hearing a lot of voices on there. You know, I know a couple of voices. You know, like I know Brian Atterbury's voice, Marcus' voice, our voice is Craig's voice, of course. But then, you know, there's some other people who do, like, they read the news, they read some news, or, you know, you got some weather stuff going on there. There's some Black facts and stuff like that. So I'm curious to see who all of those people are, because even though we sit here, you know, we come to the studio and we're on it, we don't even know everybody who's listening, everybody who's organizing. So it's just it's good though. I love what Marcus is doing with Black Access Media. I love that this is something that we have the opportunity to share information. And this is another thing that I'm noticing, right? There are other podcasts, there are other shows, there are other stations that are now pretty much imitating what we doing, and we just now getting started. You know what I mean? I heard there's a partnership with the other organizations to where now they finna do their video and they podcasting together. And a lot of people don't realize this, but we ready for TV, even when we ain't ready for TV. Like, the ratings is doing good, and they're like, okay, well, you know, you guys want to get on TV and do a network or a platform and stuff like that. So it's great to see, you know, things are growing. It's great to see things are building. And I love the fact that we as Black men have the opportunity to be able to talk about our issues.
Yeah.
We get to share our narrative, and we look like where we come from. So it's not like, you know, I'm not sitting up here in no suit. You're not sitting up here in no suit. You know, we white tee, jersey, baseball caps. And I believe that more people are open to hearing what we have to say or engaging with us. And I can't wait for it to just take off more. We need more people downloading that Black Access Media app. We need more people. And this is what I will say. A lot of people are like, well, how do I get it on HD? I don't know. So it happened in my vehicle. You know, when I figured it out, I got it on HD too.
On the humbug.
I can't tell everybody how to do it, but what I will say is, if you got an aux cord or you got Bluetooth, you can download the app.
Yeah.
And you can just play it to there from that. I'm excited to be a part of the team. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to speak up and, you know, to have things to say.
You don't even got to download the app. You can just go Blaccess 92.7.
Oh, on the website, huh? Go
.com.
straight to the website.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
the
go ahead.
website, if you missed the show, you can find our missed shows on there. They starting to put our missed shows up there if you ain't catch our shows. So
we didn't got updated. We didn't got updated. That's what's up, man. I love to see it. And then again, so like when it comes to that, like I don't know, we don't get to see how many people are listening, but I would love to know like how many people are listening, paying attention to Blaccess Media. And I want more voices to come on there. Like the morning cook up, I'm working on that. Still trying to get some guests on there.
You busy?
You know, he's got a guest every week. You know what I mean?
Craig Rowland.
Sav, he's got the house music, and then Marcus got like 3 or 4 different shows going. You know what I mean? So it is a lot of people on there, and also I would like to see more people. You know what I mean? So I'm excited for this residency. I want to hear some women on Blaccess, bro.
Yeah, they need some women.
I want to hear some women on Blaccess. You know what I mean? I would love to hear like a woman have a show similar to ours, or even a woman just talking about women stuff, giving advice to women and giving advice to men, us as men, as far as like how, you know, how do they view us? How do they see us? How we can build?
You know, we might have a woman guest next week.
Yeah, man, but we absolutely, let's get a woman guest on here. And hopefully we can get more women to come on here. And then maybe the conversation goes to where Marcus sees something and he's like, hey, let's get that person an opportunity. Because one thing we can't do is promise anybody an opportunity other than to be a guest on our show.
I know we finna leave in a minute, but you know what's funny to me, bro? I have a hard time on Mondays listening to my voice on that radio.
Why is that?
I don't know. Like I be at work because it come on at 12:30.
Right.
And I'll listen to one of the shows that we take, and if it's one of those shows that I'm like, nah, I cut it off because I don't want to hear my voice.
Oh no, you can't do that.
Is you going through that?
No, when I catch it, I listen to the whole joint. Like I ain't no, because again, if I can't ask other people to listen to it and critique me, if I'm not gonna do it. You know what I mean? So it's like you hear something like you turn it off, and then somebody like, "Oh, Malcolm, you said X, Y." Oh, I said what? How you gonna know?
I'm still trying to get used to it.
And then I think like it gives me an opportunity to be better. You know what I mean? To hear, you know, some of those points is like, okay, I need to say more, or I need to not say as much, or not ask many questions, or you know, don't because it's 30 minutes. Like the live thing, we can just boom, 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 boom.
This is.
But the radio is 30 minutes. You know what I mean?
And it make me think like when they do a sitcom, that's only 22 minutes. And you get a lot in those 22 minutes. You get a whole story in 22 minutes.
Yeah.
To like, how do they break that down compared to this,
creativity?
This radio thing that we got?
I believe you got to come ready. You got to be prepared, man. And I don't know, but yeah, I enjoy it.
And I got to go back again when we had our initial meeting with Marcus. I didn't know that this was going to be presented. I thought we was going to talk about a whole different situation. We was talking about something happened with the police.
Right.
And that turned into us sitting there brainstorming for about 2 hours to getting on these microphones like, hey. And then we done flipped it from the radio to YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's more to be done with that too, because the expectation was to have some of those national people in here, to have some of those conversations. So we got to get some of them guests on there. Shout out to the ladies at the what is it? Life After the Impact?
Life After Impact.
Life After the Impact. You know, they're on every Wednesday, correct?
Don't quote me on
okay,
that.
But Life After the Impact, y'all can join their page, you know, stuff like that. So we want to be engaging with people like that because everybody has a story to tell, and there's so many different things going on. And when you have a platform where you can uplift a Black voice, or you can uplift an oppressed voice or underdog voice, or shed light on a situation, that's important. So I love the opportunity to be able to do those things, to be able to have those conversations, and to engage in the chat. This is what I want to say, right? Because I see Jared is all in
Jared going heavy
in the comments, right? I want to know what made Jared not go up there and say whatever it is that he thought he was going to say in the first place.
Good question.
And I don't want to put no battery in Jared back.
Jared said,
but Jared had the police in there all night.
He said, I got 5 minutes and I'm going to take it slow.
Yeah. So I was waiting. Listen, because Jared, like, when I was coming in, he was at the door and they like, he can't come in here. Now, mind you, I caught them. I'm like, what you mean? You can't tell him he can't come in here. Like, it's a public meeting. The police like, oh, yeah, I can tell him. Like, yeah. So then I'm like, no, you can't. Jared, like, something took place or something happened. Something must have happened. Let me get away from this because, like, I don't want to be tangled up in this. So then I see they finally let him in. And, like, bro, when I tell you the police was watching Jared The entire time he was like, they stood to have a bird's eye view on him, and you were sitting right next to him. I'm like, man, what's about to happen, right? So then he get up, he go to the bathroom, he better
not touch me.
He keep getting up, walking around back and forth. I'm like, yo, what is Jared doing? Then I see him I turn over in because I'm sitting first chair, you know what I mean? So I can see everybody at the podium. I turn, I see Jared. I'm like, oh my God. What is this dude about to say?
Bro, he hit me. He like, Mal, I'm getting hyped.
He had his earphones in the whole. I look over, he got music play. He's sending me YouTube songs like this.
He said, I'm listening to Nipsey Hussle. I said, man, Jared wilding right now.
But then Jared went up there and he asked the question. I think that's what it was. He got the question answered, and that's what it was. But I'm curious to know what was he going to say. And I'm not trying to hype him up to go to another meeting and say it. I'm pretty sure he's going to send me a long text message letting me know exactly what he was going to say. But kudos to Jared. And then, bro, like, listen, man, I want to say this publicly. Like, we worried about you. We want you to, keep up the good fight, bro, but keep your head in it and keep your head on the swivel, man. We don't want to see you getting in no trouble.
None.
We don't want to see you getting arrested. We don't want to see you creating problems, because in the beginning of all this, when we first met, bro, like, you was a solid dude, you was educated, you was informative, and you still are. We just need you to, you know what I mean, come back to the Jared that we first met so that we can rock together, because I definitely appreciate you. You know what I mean? I appreciate the fact that, you taught me some things, you educated me some things. You the one that brought the Sunshine Act to, my attention. And you were the one that told me, oh yeah, we can get those people to speak and all of this. And I think what happened was, bro just kind of got wrapped up so much into everything that was going on that he just got overly excited. But Jared Stajeski, man, that's my guy. I remember, like, I know I was sending some emails when he first got locked up. I'm sending him emails, checking on him and stuff like that, man. I have learned a lot from that dude.
Told him when he got out.
Yeah, but I don't like the fact that he come in there and all of the sheriffs is sitting over his shoulder or peeking over his shoulder and stuff like that. So, you know what I mean, Jared, I pray for you regularly, bro. People reach out to me asking about you. So we just want to make sure that you straight. We want to make sure that you good, man. But keep coming with the heat that you coming with, man. But to make sure that you do it in a manner to where you ain't getting yourself into no trouble or causing nobody else no problem, because you have a lot of good things to say.
Absolutely.
A lot of insightful information to include. But I think sometimes you just get a little beside yourself and you go, and I'm saying this publicly not to shame you, because that's my bro. And you know what I mean? But again, we want to see you do good. We want to see you do better. We want you to continue helping us. We want to see you continue to help the city of Erie. I want you to get back on track with your Ripper podcast. I want you to get back on track with doing all of the positive things that you said that you were going to do. The fluoride conversations, the water plunges and all of that. But yeah, man, we appreciate. Yeah, I seen that. We appreciate you, Jared, man. And we want you to be well. Yes. We want you to keep doing good things. I've seen you do so many great things. I know you enrolled in school. You about to go to school and all of that good stuff, man. We want to see you win, and we support you winning, Jared. We just need you to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. We need to make sure that you stay. I already did the Ripper Pod, man. I ain't coming back on the Ripper Pod.
I'm on there on July 11th.
Okay, so you got Malcolm on the Ripper Pod. I came on the Ripper Pod for the initial John. We did the launch and introduced Jared, and that's the Jared that I need back. Before I come, and I'm gonna say that before I come on the Ripper Pod, I need the Jared that I met at Co-op. When did we meet, Jared? 3, maybe 4 years ago. Jared reached out to me. We had a conversation. That's the Jared that I want to talk to. You know what I mean? And the Jared that I need to be interacting with, because
that waterworks, Jared. Dropping that heat.
I need you. So Malcolm doing something. We need that Jared. The Jared that was doing the plunge. The Jared that was doing it, the push-ups in the water and all of that stuff, man.
He was ready to do the push-ups.
Yeah, he said, co-op Jared.
I told him, nah.
Hey, listen, they told him don't come in there doing no push-ups. Yeah.
Jared he was ready.
He ain't no fool.
And then when I seen the first John, I said, Jared finna do them push-ups.
Nah. Oh, you talking about the dude when he hit the split?
When he did the split.
Yeah, man.
When I seen that, I'm like, Jared gonna do them push-ups.
Listen, it's different rules though. It's different rules. It's different rules. If the police would have came over there and messed with old boy who did the split, it'd have been a problem. But if Jared would have did them push-ups, I think Jared would have went out by himself. Yesterday.
I still wasn't expecting that split.
Hey, I don't think nobody was expecting that split, man. That took some courage to do that, man.
And everything that was spoken from that individual was on point. I don't want to say I got confused, because I wasn't confused, but I wasn't expecting that right there.
Man, I wasn't expecting it at that time, but again, this could be me being judgmental, but I was expecting to see some wild things.
Oh yeah, that definitely Ed, I guarantee Ed's still having a couple nightmares about that. I don't care how smug he was looking, how offbeat he was.
Yeah, it was. I seen him. It was a couple times I peeped him uncomfortable. I was sitting there laughing, man, because there was a couple things that was said. You know, I be screen recording and sharing stuff. It was too many to go, but like it was a couple things that was said. I'm like, ooh, didn't think about that, or wow, you know, that was a good one. You know what I mean? Like they came down there for Ed. But again, man, I respect the fact that he stood his ground. And so the thing is, I think with the censorship, now I could be wrong, right? But I think with that being said, people can go down there to address it. Mm-hmm. So not only it might not have worked against him, it might have also worked in his favor because, like I said, they don't want us holding that meeting hostage.
No.
So if you take away that, because that's the term, you know what I mean? That's the way it goes, and I still have to do my research and my homework. It's like, yeah, I talked about them stopping you at the door when your computer died, but it's like if you take away the public comments to speak to him. People got to, but what it does is it gives people the opportunity to go down there and really speak about real concerns and real issues because they drilled him. And I wish they could do it every trip, but I also understand decorum. I also understand respecting people's time.
They drilled him.
Yeah. Yeah. We about the city said, what's the topic of the show tonight? We an hour and a half in. We on our way out the door.
Before we leave, I got one more question. And this is a cello-based question.
Right.
So we've been talking about the body cams.
Right.
Have you been paying attention to exactly what that bill consists of?
No, I haven't. I know they passed it. I know it was for probation officers and parole agents to wear body cameras when they're in the field. There was a couple different things that people were trying to do to change that. But yeah, no, I just know that the bill passed.
And the reason I asked you that, because I seen a comment earlier from somebody, and the comment was based on the body cam situation.
Right.
And it was basically, I'm not going to say the whole comment because I felt that the way it was presented, it was fucked up.
Right.
But they're saying that bill is like the people fighting for that bill is basically getting juked. Like
they are.
It's not a good bill.
I don't think so. The reason why I say that this is right here now for anybody who's just catching this. I don't want this to get chopped up and people feel like, oh, that's dead wrong. Because when you think about a parole agent, I don't look at a parole agent as a police officer.
Right.
I look at a parole agent more or less like a caseworker. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't think that a parole agent should be coming to your house carrying a gun.
Right.
I don't think that a parole agent should be in a community carrying a gun. I believe that a parole agent should be able to call the police for support in the event that a situation turns violent, because a parole agent knows your job. They know where you live, where your home plan is to, and things like that. So if there's ever a situation to where a parole agent felt like things can get violent, they can just back off. They can stop and let the person run, and they can call the police and allow the police to do their job. So what we did was, this is just my opinion, what I believe is going to happen is parole agents are now going to be considered police officers. Mm-hmm. But then also you have to consider this. When you get a home plan or when people are on parole, you're still property of the state.
Right.
And if somebody says, okay, I'm going to give you can home plan to my house, right? Mm-hmm. If a parole agent has a body camera on them and they come into your house, everything that they catch on that camera is now their property. It's up for question, right? So then again, you think about something like this. Not condoning it, not throwing it away. Let's say, for instance, somebody has a medical marijuana card, right?
Right.
And let's say you in there, you taking your medication, you roll up, it's somebody in your house on parole. I come in, I'm the parole agent, I knock on the door, you open the door, you rolling up your medication, your 7-year-old son is sitting right across from you playing his Xbox. He's not looking at you, but he's looking at TV playing the game.
Right.
I'm a mandated reporter.
Okay.
I came to your house to check on your brother to make sure that he was there, but what I witnessed was something that I have to report.
Right.
So now what I have to do is call the Office of Children and Youth and say, hey, there's a man over here using drugs in front of a child, and I don't think that it is safe, and I have proof to show it, right? Because then now when you put that camera on somebody, when you're on parole or when you're on probation, when they come to search you or they come to check you, everything is being recorded, and they have the right to come into your property. So I believe now that probation officers and parole agents are now going to be wearing body cameras, and they have the right to come into people's property and search their properties without getting a warrant. that opens up the door for so much more, especially when people aren't prepared for what they're signing up for. I think that parole agents, again, should be case managers or case workers helping people who are coming home from jail reintegrate in the community. I feel like they should be a resource for them, sending them to these reentry programs, helping them find jobs, giving them bus tokens if that's still a thing, or helping them find transportation so that way they can be better in life. I don't think that parole agents should have the ability to chase down one of their parolees and be armed, because people aren't attacking parole agents and trying to hurt them or kill them. That I've seen. I haven't seen exactly. That's what he said. I'm going to talk to that comment, but I haven't seen people like having issues or having beef with parole agents. So what we did was we just turned parole agents and probation officers into police officers, not realizing that we give these people 24/7 access to our property. So let's just say, for instance, there's a parole agent who's pissed off now. I got to wear this body cam everywhere I go. I'm coming to your house at 11:45 p.m. every night.
Right.
And let somebody say, let your baby mom, girlfriend, brother, whoever it is that you're living with say, I can't come in here, or let them say that you're not here and I got all of this on camera. You're going to jail as soon as I find you, because I'm pissed off that I now have to wear this camera. So we have given parole and probation officers power and authority to be able to enter premises where people are willing to sacrifice their privacy for their family members, not realizing that now when you come into this house with this camera on, everything that you see is being recorded and it's up for question, and the parole agent doesn't have to knock on the door and say, open up, we got a warrant.
And the reason I ask you that is because I don't think people fully understand what is about to happen, especially parolees, because especially me, I initiated body cameras for parole agents, not thinking that they can come in your house.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
that's that. I'm just curious as to, is there something else in that proposed bill that counters that?
It's done. It's done. It's done. And I think there were people who were trying to put stuff in there, but it would have made it too complicated. Because here's another thing, right? Like I said, I consider parole agents, they're supposed to be helpers. Parole agents are supposed to be helping you reacclimate into the community. How can a parole agent give a parolee a break if I got you on care? Because now I got to do my job.
Right.
Do you mean? So let's say, for instance, me as a parole agent, I roll up on you. I come to your crib, you know what I mean? Checking on you. You got some charges related to drugs and or alcohol. I come to your house, or, you know, you're sitting on the porch and you're drinking a beer, or you pouring a drink. You ain't expecting me to come. You pouring a drink and I'm your parole agent. I pull up and I'm like, what's going on, Malcolm? How you doing? And I see you with these drinks.
Right.
Does it fall on me? Like, if I wasn't wearing this camera, I could have been like, man, you know, I'm just going to pour this out. You tripping. I need to see you tomorrow within the next week, or I need you to go to outpatient. Or now is it like, bro, you on my camera? Like, it's either me or you, because we've pushed for parole agents to have and probation officers to have body cameras. So what we have done is we have put them in positions to be law enforcement officers. But what we aren't realizing is we have given them full access to the people who we are allowing to come to our homes, to just come into our houses and record everything that's going on.
And the reason I asked you this is because I've heard the pushback, but I didn't think about the coming in the house.
What? Listen, that's easy in the comments right now, which is unconstitutional. Hold on, I'm gonna put it on the screen, which is unconstitutional, and it violates, what it say? Violates constitutional, civil, and human rights, because that's a legal search and seizure. But it's not anymore.
Right.
Because again, if you grant somebody permission to come on from jail and to stay in your property, and then the police or the probation officer or the parole agent is like, okay, I want to come into the house and see what's in here. You can't tell them what not to look at.
Right. It's just like when they come in now, they say you can't have no alcohol right there.
Right.
So now they can basically get a visual.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like when they come in the house, we got to look at your room. So we walking through your living room, your dining room. We going upstairs. We checking the room.
That part.
We got a camera on. We can take a
that
picture.
Part.
So this is the equivalent of, let's say, somebody is in your home and they doing dirty, but your parolee is living clean and trying to do the best that they can.
Yeah.
And they want to raid your house so they can come in and get a whole visual of your premises,
right,
and know which rooms to hit and what is
absolutely, absolutely. And then even this, right? Because you think kids are mischievous. So let's say, for instance, a parole agent is coming to You know, I'm staying with my uncle. I'm on parole. My uncle got a daughter that's 15 or 16 years old. She's smoking weed in her room.
Right.
My parole agent comes to visit me, knock on the door. Oh, I smell drugs in here. I can't be like, oh no, my room is over here. You can't search that room. They have access to search the whole house. So now you got a parole agent going in, and let's say, for instance, this 16-year-old young girl is smoking weed, or she rolling up a blunt, and she's got more weed in the room.
Right.
So now what we looking at is possession.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's underage use of marijuana, if that's a thing with, you know, the bills and stuff like that. But then also the person who oversees the house. Now this is corruption of minors. This could be a potential corruption of minors situation or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, and again, he says that's how the police justify warrantless search, because now what the parole agent can do is call the police and be like, yo, I got this footage. There's drugs in this house.
Mm-hmm.
They can take that video footage and go get a warrant to search the house, even if it's just a joint in the dresser.
Right.
But let's just say, for instance, now the police come in there and they finding so much stuff that they would have never been able to come in and find had that parole agent not been wearing that camera and we gave the permission to do so. So I know, like, and that's really why I really wasn't too big on that, because I kind of understood that, but I didn't want to seem like I was knocking nobody. But yeah, what we did was we literally just gave them the right to come into people's houses who are people on parole with a camera. Excuse me. So this is the impact that it will have on people coming home from jail.
Right.
Who finna let you come to my house? You can't come here.
Right.
Bro, you mean your parole agent finna come in my crib with a camera on? It's bad enough he got 24/7 access, and parole agents all of them don't abuse that authority.
No.
They'll come knock, check. Oh, he ain't here. Okay, cool. They ain't coming to search. But now you telling me when you get out of jail, you want to come stay in my house,
mm-hmm.
where I got to get rid of my guns. I'm a gun person.
Right.
I can't have no drinks in my house.
Right.
And now you telling me somebody coming. So let's just say, for instance, I'm having a long day. I leave work. I'm gonna go grab me a bottle. You know, at the end of the night, I ain't expecting this parole agent to come. I'm just gonna sit on the porch and have me a couple of drinks.
Right.
Pull up. Now you got to go to jail because I want to be a grown man, and it's on camera. So again, I'm not sure, and I know a lot of people. Hopefully anybody who catches or caught little glimpses of that don't feel like I'm trying to knock the whole body cam bill or nothing like that.
No.
But I don't think that people thought that all the way through, because now what we are doing is we are allowing parole agents and probation officers to have the same authority as police, or giving them the right and the opportunity to be able to call the police into our houses if they see something or they catch something that looks out of place and they have video evidence of it on this body cam.
And that's why I asked, because initially when this first started, the first thing was like, and a lot of our moms was like, if we had body cam, the story could be told. We wouldn't have to go this hard to fight for cello. But on the same token, now that I'm looking at it in another angle, another light, I did not expect to hear what I just heard.
Right. Because I think more or less the fight should have been parole agents don't need to carry guns.
Right.
Tasers, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mace.
I agree with
yes.
that. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Handcuffs, yes, because they have to detain and they have to send people back. But giving a parole agent a gun, because it's in the comments. I see it in the comments, but like a parole agent I worked in a prison. So there's drug and alcohol counselors, and then there's corrections counselors. The correction counselor is pretty much the person who helps the person who is incarcerated, make sure everything is up to date. So when it's time to see parole, they go home, make sure they're doing all of their programs and stuff like that. A parole agent is a correction officer on the street, not a correction officer, a corrections counselor on the street.
Right.
You know what I mean? So on the street, you are supposed to be working with your parolee to make sure that everything is going good. You should never, ever think there may come a time where I might have to shoot you, bro.
So what was the, let me back this up.
Imagine I'm giving you a gun in Gadenzia.
But let me back this up. And we're going to go to 9:45 about this. It's 9:38 now. So we're going to go about 7 more minutes.
Right.
Because I want to know, what was the reason for the parole agents to even get the guns to carry in the first place?
I mean, I think we're a little too late to ask that question.
I'm just curious.
I honestly don't know. But again, hindsight is 2020, because again, when we were pushing for this, I honestly believe that should have been the question. Like, why do they have guns?
Right.
Take away the guns. Not okay, when they kill us, let's make sure we can get the video of them killing us. No. Let's take away the guns and let's make a parole agent do the job that a parole agent is defined to do.
For me, because I'm still messed up that the way this happened, but I wasn't in tune with a parole agent actually carrying a firearm?
Listen, I think a lot of people, when a lot of that stuff took place, a lot of people was off of emotion. They were running off of emotion. And when somebody said, oh, this is a good idea, everybody ran with a good idea. And I don't think a lot of people really deciphered it or broke it down like that, because there were a lot of people behind the scenes like, this is not good.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody like, oh, if they would have had body cams,
Yeah.
this would have never happened in Cello. It would have happened in Cello. It would have just been on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would have been able to witness it. And we already witnessed it from a ring cam. But it's not like we don't have the hindsight or the power to say, okay, well, if they would have been had the body cam, no, because if they would have had the body cams, they would have been able to run in the house.
Didn't think,
or they'd have been able to, you know what I mean, search, and all of that stuff would have been on there as well. And then on top of that, and it's in the comments, he's right.
Mm-hmm.
He's right. That's how the police justify a warrantless search. The parole agent can say, I came over here, they got all of this going on. You don't need a warrant when you're on parole. Like with parole,
Right.
a parole agent does
come
not
to
need
your, they come to your house.
open the door, be coming in here. And they could treat it like a prison cell. And again,
Right.
working in the prison, I've seen shakedowns, and then working at Cadenzia, when we used to do the searches, like it's some people who are a little overzealous about looking for stuff and how they can find, you know what I mean? But they say it's their protection because they are dealing with criminals. Right. That's an excuse for the justification for a gun, because again, I worked as a drug and alcohol counselor in a prison.
Right.
I worked as a drug and alcohol counselor at a facility that was outpatient that worked with people on probation and parole. And I also worked at Cadenzia. I never had a gun, never had a taser, never had handcuffs. And I never felt like there would ever be a time where I would have to shoot one of my clients.
Right.
And I've dealt with some, like I sat across from a dude, God rest his soul, his name is Tom. Like this dude was swastika up.
Oh yeah,
like white power, like, and him and I, we sat our first session. He was like, he wasn't trying to talk to me, and we kind of like had that breakthrough moment. But I never ever felt like, because this man was incarcerated, because this man swastika up, because this man is white power tattooed, that he's going to do something to me, because it was my job to help him deal with whatever his stressors and his triggers were for his drug related, and to offer him coping skills. It was never like, you know, I need to have an emergency button under here, or make, like, they gave me a whistle when I was working at the jail, bro. Had a whistle.
I don't know
literally a whistle,
bro. I know because you know I used to go into Albion, and once they close that door, it's
right,
locked.
right.
And all you do is get
that, right.
Like ain't nobody coming in there.
That part. So yeah, again, like I think that a lot of people, and that's why I shared the job description early when all of that stuff was taking place, because I don't believe that a lot of people truly understand the role of a probation officer or truly understand the role of a parole agent, as well as what they have the rights to do. So now it's like you give a man a gun, right, to come search your house. And here's another thing, right? Because then we have to talk about the Second Amendment. Once you allow somebody on parole or probation in your house, I believe that you're not allowed to have weapons in your house.
You ain't supposed to.
So this is this thing. Imagine a grown man coming into your house with a gun to search your house, and you ain't even allowed to have a gun. And if he finds a gun in your house, he takes your gun while he's holding a gun.
Right.
Hey, and you have to willingly let this man unarm you. And you might get in trouble. And a person who's staying in your house may have to leave now and go back to jail because you had a gun. But you are saying it's okay for this guy to, now it's a camera too. So you can come in my house with a gun.
Right.
You can come in my house with a taser.
Right.
You come in my house with handcuffs.
Right.
And I'm telling you that I'm not going to have any alcohol.
Right.
I'm not going to have any drugs.
Right.
I'm not going to have any weapons. And now you can wear a camera to prove that all of this is going on. So if they come in here, and let's say, for instance, you got your gun on your hip because you licensed to carry, and they catch you on camera, your cuz got to go to jail.
Right. That's deep. And this is we definitely gonna have a conversation, because I know a lot of people haven't seen this, they haven't paid attention to this. And again, we are sitting there like, we need body cams, we need body cams, we need body cams, we need body cams.
I mean, and I shared the news because it was a good push forward. Like, you see the
Right.
people fighting, but again, I don't have anybody on parole coming to my house. I'm not on any parole, you know what I mean? And I believe that, okay, let's take away the gun. Let's take away the gun. Let's give these parole agents a clipboard, a camera, and a flashlight. If they feel unsafe, if you feel like you got to come to my house with a gun, then you can call the police to come with you.
Absolutely.
And let's make the police do their job.
Right.
Or, hey, man, I'm not going over there. I'm going to catch him in the morning, in the daytime. I'm going to tell Deontay, meet me at the office. If he doesn't come to the office, then we'll go get him with my partner. We'll arrest him in the daytime. But I'm not going somewhere as a parole agent if I feel like my life is being threatened. And I feel like if parole agents are taking that job, and the ones who are gun happy and they should go be police officers.
And again, the reason I asked you this is because I seen a post earlier, and the post sparked my it sparked my head. Like, wait a minute, this is like, let me dig deep in this, because what he's saying, the way he said it was messed up, but the way he said it was correct.
It's real. Yeah. It's real. And I think, again, so that's why, like, I read the comments, but don't be really arguing with the comments, because this is what I will say, there are a lot of ignorant, racist people who drop a lot of gems, drop a lot of information. There be a lot of education through the bigotry and through the hate. You know what I mean? So when you see this stuff, you're like, damn, he coming at me, but you got a point there. Like, and some of them inbox me, and I have conversation with some folks until they take it too far, because I tell people, like, I'm open to opinions. I'm open to conversation. I don't care if you wear a red hat. I don't care if you voted for Trump. I don't care if you don't like black people. Let's have a conversation and let me understand a little bit more, because there's always an opportunity to learn. But it's like, when you shut that out, and you just like so gung-ho with us, sometimes you realize that we as us, we scream so loud and we fight for so many things, and sometimes it's ignorance, and there are people who are trying to educate us, but they don't know how to communicate to us. So we take those words as hate. But again, when you think about it, bro, like, now that we think about it, like, PO, come in your crib, gun, taser, mace, handcuffs, camera,
you going to jail.
You better not have
nothing.
And then act like you want to talk to him like you crazy. Okay, well, whoever, your nephew can't be here. If you gonna treat me like, you telling me, oh, I can't come in? You ain't home? Or the door, you ain't opening the door?
And again,
going back to jail.
This conversation needs to be had properly, because and I'm only speak for me, didn't fully understand what we were asking for. I only seen one spectrum, and that was, y'all killed our friend, our cousin, our loved one.
Right.
If you had on a body camera, we would have been able to see
him get killed.
What happened? How did it happen? We would have been able to hear voices. We would have been able to hear what you said when you walked up to that car, or what he said as you approached him. I didn't think about everything else that goes with this by asking for those cameras to be worn, and not understanding that this is way bigger than where we started last July.
And then we even talking about putting kids at risk.
Yeah.
Because again, a parole agent doesn't have to have a warrant. They can just pull up. So you know what I mean? You don't know when that parole agent is coming. And clearly they can come to wherever you are, because once you are on state parole, I want to reiterate this, you are still considered property
of the state.
Absolutely. So if your parole agent sees you somewhere, they can approach you wherever you are. So your parole agent approaches you at the park and they got a camera. And again, I'm not trying to condone these behaviors, but let's just say young folks are having a dice game. Or, you know what I mean? Let's just say it's kids gambling, and let's just say it's a fight that gets out of control, and before the adults can get there to handle it, the parole agent steps in, because now he has a gun or she has a gun, and they feel like they're justifying their behaviors because they had a camera on. We have given parole agents the opportunity to be police, to act and think like police, and we are putting people at risk, innocent people, children.
I'm understanding the part where City said they're protecting themselves.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So this is, I'm glad that you asked me that question. So now I'm gonna ask you a question. Like, how did you not realize that?
Because my mom wasn't there.
Right.
My mom wasn't there.
Right.
Again, I'm gonna go back. My mom was, our man got killed. Our friend got killed. If he had on a body cam, we would have seen it.
That's when you say that. Hold on, real quick. When you say that though.
Hold on.
Wait. No. When you say if he would have had a body cam on, we would have seen it. What difference would it have made?
No, but let me finish, because I'm looking at him not as a probation officer. I'm looking at him as a police officer.
Right. We would have seen it.
This is where my mom was at.
Right.
In that time.
Right.
Because I don't want to say we, but some people was trained like, if you see this body cam, you see this body camera footage, like this is the end all be all. It's going to prove the point of what happened.
But I believe people have gotten off. People have gotten off wearing body cams. So even when you say that, like, if he would have had a body cam on, we would have been able to see it. Why do we want to see that?
True.
You know what I mean? Like, why do we want to see that? Especially, it was a camera across the street. There's Ring cameras everywhere.
Right.
But again, like, I think like,
but again,
it was so many people running off of emotions, and then it was turning into a popularity contest to where it seemed like people wanted to have the biggest voice, to where it was some people who were just screaming for stuff that they didn't know what they were screaming for. And there were people, racist people, or there were people who were against the whole Justice for Cello thing, who were saying like, yo, y'all tripping with some of this stuff. And some of those people were right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was just like, and then when you see so many people going against each other, it was like, well, some of us, I'm not about to argue with nobody. I told people from the beginning, my feelings or emotions aren't involved in this. So I'm going to pull back when it's time for me to pull back, because I know how I argue. I know how I can get with my words, and I know I can make sense with and people take offense to that. But yeah, now we to the point to where the House bill got passed. It's like, kudos for working hard. Thank you, Ryan Bajaro. Thank you, Rock Copeland, for doing the work. But I think because they don't even understand what parole looks like.
Right.
They don't understand what it's like to be dealing with that type of stuff, because in order to understand, you either have had to live through it or know people who have lived through it. So I think that in their heart of hearts, they thought they were doing a good thing. It's like, oh, this happened. These people are screaming body cams.
Right.
We need to get body cams. So now it's like they got the body cams, and then people are like, hey, did you guys realize that you just told them they can come search you, or they can come? Now people are like, oh, wait, we don't want body cams. Like, no. It's too late now. We can't undo this one. Like, the body cams are where they at. The body cams, they're gonna stay where they are. And now we like.
So I'm curious to see how this pilot program is running down with this. I gotta kind of speak to somebody and see.
Man, I just hope that parole agents realize that their job is not to be police officers. And I hope that they realize that it is their job to connect people and to build people back up.
Yeah.
And then I just hope we as community members can realize that this is an opportunity for us to be more involved in what probation and parole is doing. I feel like we need to be able to support people who are on parole and probation and create an opportunity for them to be able to speak to us so we can advocate for them.
Right.
Because a lot of people reached out to me like, yo, I wanted to come down there, but I was afraid. And I tell people, like, if you're afraid, don't come down there, because I don't want you to put yourself, like, a parole agent killed a man. So I'm not clowning nobody for not showing up, but I believe that we need to be more involved in what's going on. And that's why, like, I had a whole issue with the ECR SSA thing. Is because, like, behind the scenes, like, I'm working with some guys to figure out how we can develop programs and how we can be a resource and we can be advocates for what they have going on to help different reentrants with some of the issues that they're dealing with. Because you have people yelling, fighting, and screaming for certain things, and they're not understanding what they're yelling, screaming, and fighting for.
Right.
And we literally just fought and screamed for parole agents to now be able to have cameras and come into our houses and record and all of this stuff, because we just wanted something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they'll give you something. And that's what I think we as Black people need to wake up, and not even just Black people, we as underprivileged people, we need to wake up and realize that. And I put it in my status the other day. If we figure out the right ask, we will get our needs met. But when we ask for certain things and they're reading it, they probably like, oh, these motherfuckers don't even know what they asking for. You know what? We gonna give them body cams. We gonna give them flock cams. We gonna give them drones.
But you see how it was on my mind. Because I didn't know what people was asking for until that question that I seen sparked my brain. Like, wait a minute, what he just wrote makes sense, but the way that he wrote it, it made sense. But the way he said it was like,
and that's why people have problem with me for that, because it's like the message was good.
Oh yeah,
the message made sense, but why you had to say it like that?
Yeah.
Why you had to say it like that, or why you gotta be? You don't want to say like everything that you said. Yeah, it made
he was on his live.
Listen,
and he sparked that question today, and I was at work, and I said, "I'm gonna get back to you on that."
It makes sense, bro.
I didn't have no answer.
It makes sense, bro.
And now it makes sense.
Gave him a gun. So the parole agents and the probation officers are now police officers.
Yeah,
and they now check this out, because now we didn't dove deep into this, right? So now what the police can do is they can send the parole agents out. No, they can send the parole agents out to the community.
Right.
And they can say, okay, go out there and, give us a list of your caseload, because we're looking for a couple guys and we know these guys hang with these guys, right? So now let's just say, for instance, I'm a suspect, you a parolee.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, that Deontay and that Malcolm, they always together. This is what I need you to do.
This is a big.
When you see them in the car, pull that car over.
Right.
So you pull that car over, Malcolm's in that car, run that body camera, and if you smell marijuana, and don't let that car move, and we gonna come search the car.
Right.
Or follow the car. Go where Malcolm is going. and then you go follow behind him and where that body camera, and we gonna get the address of where Deontay's at. And if Malcolm is home playing in there, like we ain't gonna come get him today, but we want you to go do a whole search because Deontay and Malcolm are cool. Where your body cam? When you come back, you give us that recording. And now what we have is the entire layout of this man's house.
Right.
So when we decide to go in here on a bus or whatever the case may be, boom, they can go in there because the probation officer or the parole agent can now get the footage and give it to the police because you were hanging with me or I'm hanging with you. And that would be enough to get or issue a warrant for arrest. Or if they catch, like, let's say, for instance, a parole agent is like, me and you riding together. I'm on parole, you ain't, you smoking weed. And they're like, oh, bro, here, you got it. They just can just hold us. It smell like weed in here. Y'all got to sit tight.
Right.
Police come. It ain't me, but my parole agent can search me. So my parole agent searches me and says, well, Deontay doesn't have anything. And the police are like, well, somebody got it. We smell marijuana. We got a tip from the PO. Let's search this man. And now you can go to jail. So it's so many different opportunities for them to just lock us up because now what they can do, if they want to go this route, and I'm not saying that they want to go this route, is they can send probation officers out. They can send parole agents out, and they can say, okay, go out into the community because these are all the people that's on parole. These are all the people that they hang with. Go to the Roger Young Park. Go in there. Go hang out in there. Go hang out here. Go hang out there. And just, we want 20 parole agents surveilling the city of Erie because we know where the parolees are. Send those tapes to the Erie Police Department or send those tapes to the state troopers, and they can say, oh, looks like probable cause. Oh, I know who started that fight over there. Or, oh, yeah, overheard such and such. I heard this person say that. Send them in.
Didn't think of that.
So again, somebody says a PO can't do nothing to a civilian, right? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is a PO can come to a parolee and collect footage and call the police because now they have evidence because they have these body cams, and the police can come back because what you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like if Malcolm driving and I'm passenger with him and he on parole and the PO stop us, I hope that he wouldn't pull off on his PO because he going back to jail. Right. So if he got to sit there and he got to talk to his probation officer and he got to sit there and have that conversation with his PO, and the PO done call for backup, and let's say I got a pocket full of weed, and when they come probation, we smell weed. I mean, come, search the car.
This is just.
Listen, hold on. So Rasan, I'm not a PO. I think that right now you're just trying to argue and you're missing the whole point. A PO can stop a person on parole. When you're on parole, you are property of the state. So if we have now given POs body cameras, and if, let's say, for instance, Malcolm and I are at the store at Country Fair, he comes out, his PO walks up to him, I just bought some blunts, I got a pocket full of weed, Malcolm's a driver, and he says, hold on, Malcolm, sit tight right there, let me talk to you for a second. He catches me on the body cam with blunts. That PO can call the police and say, I have probable cause to believe that there is drugs in this vehicle. Come over here to Country Fair on this street, on this place, because they're not leaving because my parolee is driving the vehicle. So it's up to me to either flee if I hear him or me to sit there and wait. And then a police officer can come to me and say, hey, let me pat you down. Let me search you. And I can say, well, what are you searching me for? You have no reason. He says I have probable cause. I have you on video with whatever X, Y, and Z. Now, again, I can say you're not going to search me. Wait right there. We're going to detain you because we have a right to believe X, Y, and Z. And it turns into a whole thing all because we thought the body cams was a good idea. So what we did was we gave probation and parole officers the opportunity to go out into our community to get intel, and to go get intel from the community. Said, but if I'm not on parole and I'm the driver, do I have to pull over? That's not what I'm saying, bro. I'm saying if the parolee is the driver, do you turn it into something that it don't got to be turned into? The parole agent has a camera. So even if you flee off, if the parole agent sends it to the police and the police say, okay, we have probable cause, we got you on camera, like you can't deny that you were on camera, even if you pulled off. Okay, you pulled off. There's the car. This is the license plate. This is the individual. Do you know him? Find him. I mean, again, it's evidence. So it's a bad, in my opinion, it's a bad idea. Probation and parole are both the same thing. The only difference is one of them.
I wonder if they're gonna. I wonder how they're gonna roll this out because I'm assuming it's a go.
They be celebrating it.
Yeah, it's a go.
And we praised it. I shared it, so I'm not finna sit here and make it seem like, oh, you were being a hypocrite. I shared it. I seen people fighting. People were like, okay, we finally did something. So I shared it because we seen people finally push for us. So they fought. But I'm glad whoever brought it to your attention to make you realize that that really wasn't the best decision. The decision I believe that we should have been pushing for was parole agents to not have guns. Tasers, have taser. Taser probably could kill somebody with a pacemaker. Mace, have some mace. You know what I mean? But a gun, I do not think that a probation officer should have the right to have a lethal authority over you.
I don't think so neither. Bro.
Lethal authority over you, especially when they're related to the state. They can call state police even before they call the city police. The state probation officers are connected to the state troopers. The county probation officers are connected to the sheriffs. Those guys are legally allowed to carry guns. So in my opinion, I believe that what we did was we just offered probation officers and parole agents the opportunity to come into our communities to gather intel, to gather video footage, to come into people's houses where things might be going on or things may not be going on, and they just suspect things are going on. And now it's just, let's just search everything.
Look, because you just really, this little 15 minutes that we had about this opened my eyes over a whole year of work in 15 minutes that I did not. I got to be honest, before we leave, I did not think about that. That wasn't a concern. Even talking about a gun never crossed my mind that we should take them weapons away from them.
Right. Yeah.
It was always in my world, and I can't speak for everybody else who is affiliated with anything concerning this situation. In my world, my eyes, it was always that body cam.
Yeah.
Didn't think about, wait a minute, why did he have a gun? We should have took that gun from him. A parole agent, a parole officer shouldn't be carrying a gun, going to check somebody.
Never, bro. Why should you be afraid? Because the thing is, you're supposed to be able to trust your parole officer. If I'm struggling and I'm on parole, I'm supposed to be able to go to my parole agent and say, hey, man, listen, my baby mom tripping. She about to put me on child support, and I'm already on parole. I'm gonna end up going to jail. Is there any way you can help me find a job? Can you send me to some temp agencies? Do you have any friends? So I should never, ever fear. Only time I believe people should fear their parole agent is when they've been using drugs and they get called in and they're gonna give a hot urine.
Right.
And that's when it's like, you signed yourself up to either go to rehab or you signed yourself up to go back to jail. Other than that, and I used to tell them, when I have people on my caseload leaving prison, I used to tell them, make your parole agent do their job. They get paid by the state. They get paid well. If you're struggling with something, if you're having a hard time, tell them you need a job. Tell them you want to go back to school. Tell them to connect you with OVR. Tell them to connect you with mental health services, outpatient drug and alcohol and stuff like that. Right. So I never, ever thought, and I knew some good, like Jim Place, I believe he passed away, God rest his soul. He was great. I love working with Jim Place, like having conversation with him. So I never, ever in a million years thought that somebody should fear their parole agent if they didn't do anything wrong. Like, again, and then when you think about people on parole, they ain't scared to go to jail because parole hit 30 days, 90 days, 60 days. And we talking dudes who've done years. So like, people should be able to talk to the PO. Absolutely. They should be, man, you should be able to go cry to your PO.
We've both worked with probation.
Exactly.
I've worked with the
exactly. You should be able to go to your PO and cry. It should be like a therapy session. Absolutely. Sometimes. I should never, ever, ever feel like, oh my God, my PO might kill me today.
And I don't want people to think that in the initial stages of going through what we went through in July, August, September, we did ask those questions about why did he have a gun? But along the way, we stopped thinking about that and went straight centered to the body cameras.
And this is the thing, right? When you ask them to put a body camera on it, but and let them still have a gun, we might as well say, give them lasers. So then that way they won't shoot them in the back. At least we know where they argue. I mean, where they're aiming at. Because again, we didn't say take the gun. We said give them something to protect themselves while they had the gun.
Right.
So let's give them a laser too. You know what I mean? Let's give them a laser so they could be more accurate. So then that way people aren't getting shot in the back. So then God forbid they shoot somebody and we can have a ballistic and say, where was the laser pointed at? Like, excuse me, it's crazy to me. It makes no sense to me. And I think that's why I passed so easily.
This is wild.
That's why I passed. That's what. There wasn't no pushback.
That thing was like 195 to 7.
It really wasn't much pushback. It wasn't no, oh, do this, do that. And then I think it was some ordinance. Some people were like, okay, take this, add this. And they're like, yeah, no, let's not do that. Because I believe there are people who are behind the scenes who were like, this is better for us than it is for them. And that's why I went the way that it did. Because again, now we have intel. Now we can protect our officers. And then we don't have to have our parole agents kill anybody. We can just send the police. And if the police do it, we're off the hook. Because remember when it took place, the Erie police immediately, it wasn't us.
Yeah, we didn't have
nothing to do with it. We got there. This is the police testified against Kevin Steele, and they are testifying. Cool. Thank you for that. Right. But like immediately they're like, oh, this ain't us. So now what it is okay, let's put it back on somebody else. We got the body footage. We got the cameras. Hey, call the police. Get the police over here. Come do something. Because we got footage of this guy being violent. We got footage of this guy being, and We could have provoked them.
Right.
So yeah, man.
Man.
Yeah, man. So it's a lot of craziness, right? And again, that's why when we came in, and I'm like, listen, man, I'm not emotionally connected to this. I'm not gonna be in my feelings because I know how feelings can get. And I'll walk away from this thing before it gets to the point to where I'm showing my feelings and my emotions. Because when I get into my feelings and when I get into my emotions, I offend people, and I do it intentionally. And I didn't want to get to the point to where, okay, now Deontay's speaking from feelings and he's coming for everybody that's in his path. So, but yeah, it was a lot of feelings. It was a lot of emotion. We can't, but we can't take it back.
No.
You know what I mean? And I think what's important is for us to educate our people on what this means, like we're doing now, as well as to advocate for some of those folks who are on probation and parole. And then for those people who we know are on probation and parole, we need to let them know how serious this is and let them know, like, listen, man, please don't come out here playing, because like nobody wants to do this every year. Nobody wants to be screaming at probation officers. Nobody wants to be at the courthouse and all of that. So on the flip side, we need people who are coming home to like really legitimately get their act together. And for those people who are coming home who aren't ready to get their act together, don't home playing at somebody's house who you won't put in harm's way, or don't associate yourself with good people who are trying to do the right things, because right now they just up the score on us, and it can get way more heated, and we can put a lot more people at risk if we are because of love. You know what I mean? Because I love my bro, so when he get out, he can come live here, but he coming home and he think he finna set up shop and had a trap in the house.
I just hate we always talking about resources, and the resources ain't full circle with this. That this is a 5% resource that was given, and it's a lot of other work that need to be done with this whole body cam situation, because again, we talking about them just going in your house. We talking about them just, you could have the smallest of a molecule of anything, and
come get them.
You going to jail tonight. You going back. You violated. We got it on camera.
And get your house raided, right? So imagine that too. Like even if they just want to be petty. Like, oh, this the house where we get so many calls from, and we can never go in here. This Pierce are always out here cussing me out. Your probation officer come in there and say, oh, it's weed in there. I found a weed. We found a gram of weed in here, and we think there's more. And they call the police, and they show them on a body cam, it's a gram of weed in here. Imagine what the police finna come do when they come search your house.
You know what? And what I'm gonna make it a duty of mine is to make sure that we are educating on this situation.
Absolutely.
What we don't want is our men or our women going back to jail. We want everybody to come out and be successful, reintegrating back into society.
Absolutely.
The right way. Like, well, I'm not going to let this body camera situation rip me apart, because it's something that a lot of people believed in, and we got to go with the punches with.
That's the part, and this is what I will say, and this is why I did the live that I did. It's like, for the people who say that they care, now it's time to really show it. Not to scream it, not to go to the meetings, not to be on social media saying it, but like, if you know somebody who just came home or who's struggling and could potentially go back, then you need to, all of that effort and all of that pressure that was applied at those city council meetings and those county council meetings, what we need to do is we need to be supporting these people. If we know of resources in the community that are available for people who are trying to find jobs, or for people who need mental health support, or people who need drug and alcohol counseling, food, clothing, education, and stuff like that. Because we're so okay with screaming at the law and screaming at the system, what we need to realize is we have just put people against people. So now we need to be advocates for those people, and we need to make sure that we are offering those resources and not telling somebody else they need to find a resource or they need to get it. And like, again, like I said, like I've been having some conversations and we working on some things. We talk mental health, you talk drug and alcohol counseling, outpatient group work readiness programs and stuff like that. So at the same time, we as citizens have to have cameras in our own houses, so it's not all depend on body cam, which can, I don't know how I feel about that. Especially like, I don't know. Did you see that Super Bowl commercial with the Ring camera? No. So they had a commercial. It was a dog that was lost. The dog was lost. So what Ring can do now is they can tap into all of the cameras in the neighborhood to track the dog down, right?
My Ring is going off now.
That's what I'm saying. So when you say that at the same time, we as citizens need to have cameras in our own houses, we don't like, I don't think people understand technology. And then it's a whole push with this data center stuff and AI. Like, again, they talking about flock cameras. So the more cameras that we get and the more technology that we use, even when we feel like we are having this to defend ourselves, like sometimes it can, it can cause us more harm. I mean, more help than harm.
This AI is big. these data centers really.
I don't know much about it to even
like,
speak to it.
Look,
I don't know much. I ain't finna hop into that conversation because I know it's some people who are gung ho. But what I will say is, I'm a huge fan of technology, and I know you give me a computer, bro, I'm a beast with that joint. So again, when you talk body cams, you talk flock cams, and you talk house cams, like there are people who can tap into all of that stuff to the point to where it's just like, where do we have privacy? So then it's more or less like, not the technology all the time, not the cameras all the time. When do we as people just engage as people and have positive conversations and have gatherings and have social functions to where we know who's who, we know what's what, and we're communicating to where we don't need to be having these cameras and putting people under surveillance, but we actually like, there should be a point in time where my grandmother would open the door and scream my name, and 3 people would scream my name if they heard it to make sure the message came. Now we so relying on cameras and we so relying on social media and pulling them cameras out that we realize that we've got so far away from society. We've gotten so far away from community. And then what we are doing is we just advocated for body cams. And now everybody's got ring cams and everybody's always pulling their phone out to go live. And everybody's always recording things to where we as people have given up our own privacy. But then we're saying that we want privacy and we saying that we don't want people in our business. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword for real, because I'm all for cam, for certain reasons, but I'm not the type of person to record a fight. I'm not the type of person to record an incident. I'm not the type of person to take pictures of stuff like that, because you never know what you're getting somebody involved in. You never know what somebody's signing up for, and you never know what you're going to catch, right? Then when you got this footage, you got people calling you, blowing your phone up, saying, do this, do that. Now you got threats coming, people asking you to delete it, people asking you to not have it. So again, when do we just get back to being people? As he says, cameras on trees all over. It's definitely cameras all over the place. I've been noticing cameras too, and I'm like, is that one of them flock cameras, or is that just one of them cameras that'll catch you if you run through a red light? But it is a lot more cameras popping up in the city of Erie, and I know there's a whole fuss in Mill Creek about those flock cameras. So again, that's something that we need to be considering when everybody's pulling out those cameras to record something, or everybody's trying to go live to put somebody on blast. Understand?
I seen the AI join and the dude got arrested and wasn't even him. The facial recognition, they said it was him. He was in a whole nother state. He was in jail for 2 months.
Listen, so that's what I mean when you talk about Big Brother and we talk about the cameras and all of that stuff and the body cams and all of that. Like, again, I'm a nerd. I'm a big nerd. I love technology. I love getting behind the computer, playing on my phone and all of those different things. But I believe that there's a line that we shouldn't be toting. And I believe that there are a lot of people who aren't really educated on technology or understand the things that technology can do, because we love so much what we can do with it for ourselves. It's like, I got my grandkids on here, or I'm capturing this moment, or the baseball game and all of that stuff, that I don't think a lot of people realize that I'm giving up my privacy with this little device. And I'm, even with the cookies and signing into all of these pages and stuff like that, I don't think a lot of people realize that. I think we as a people need to get back to loving one another, having those conversations, building up our community, educating our community, and even then having a relationship with some of these people, because like a parole agent, we should be able to like, yo, get out of here. We got it. We should be able to tell some of those police officers like, yeah, y'all got a call, but we handled it. Them young boys was just fighting. We cleared it up. Y'all not taking our kids to jail. But we need to have strength in our community to where we can build up to where we have the courage to say those things. And we know the people who are saying those things are really going to take care of those situations, and to have the relationship with the police so that when we tell the police we got it, they know who said it. They understand that we have that type of power. We have that type of authority. We have that type of connection. And they can trust the fact that we are going to handle and we are going to deal with that problem. And we done got, you said 9:45, bro. We done went another 30 minutes on top of this, Joe, man. I got to get back to the kids, man. We appreciate everybody for watching. Yes, appreciate everybody in the comment section was lit today. Hopefully y'all was sharing it. Let's continue to keep these conversations going. Listen, tomorrow is Juneteenth. Make it black everywhere, not just Erie, across the United States of America. We want to see people celebrating their blackness. We want to see people posting their flags, their pictures, their heritage. We want the allies to come out and support. There's a cruise tomorrow. Erie's Black Wall Street is having a cruise, Victoria Princess. I'm not exactly sure what time that is taking off. I'm not about to look that up right now. You can check their page. You can just type in Juneteenth Erie, PA. You'll see some events. There's a event on Saturday morning. Jerry Roberts, he's doing the father walkathon. We are going to consider that Juneteenth thing as well, because again, Jerry's a black father, Terry's a black father, and we got to make sure that we are encouraging our black fathers. So anybody who has some time on Saturday morning, I'm not exactly sure what time that is, but I know Jerry's watching. You can put that in the comments. There's a father walkathon, and then after the father walkathon, I know Angela McNair and the Juneteenth celebration, they're hosting an event at Perry Square. Outside of that,
I got my man Al
Any-
Smitherman.
The barbershop.
They're doing barbershop.
The barbershop talk. So at Al Smith, Heads of State on State Street,
Mhm.
they're also doing an event for men's mental health awareness month, also tied to Juneteenth. So fellas, if you have some time, make sure that you stop at the barbershop Heads of State. That's on State Street. I'm not exactly sure the address, but I know it's like 3 doors up from D's.
Yeah.
Make sure that you stop there again.
Start at 1
The
o'clock.
Juneteenth event. Make sure that everybody is showing up to the Juneteenth event. And then on top of that, don't just feel like you have to go to these events to be a part of Juneteenth or to celebrate Juneteenth. Understand that you can celebrate Juneteenth in your own house.
Yes.
You can celebrate Juneteenth in your own neighborhood.
Yeah.
You can celebrate Juneteenth in a park that is close to your house and your neighborhood. You can celebrate Juneteenth on social media. Let's make sure that we are celebrating. Let's make sure that we are talking about the freedom of Black people, because I will say when it comes to Juneteenth, it took 2 years for them to let them people know that they was free, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people like, what y'all want and all of this, but Independence Day, sign the Declaration of Independence. We can go crazy, fireworks and all of that stuff, not to try to compare the two or whatever, but we want it to be big like that. So again, we are celebrating Juneteenth. And then the following week, June 27th, the Black Cess Media launch party. There are tickets on sale right now. You can go to the Black Cess Media page. You can go to the Divinely Crown page. There will be no tickets sold at the door. The party is in 9 days. So make sure that you get it. There's going to be live performers there. There's going to be everybody who's on the show is going to be there. There may be some giveaways. There's some hors d'oeuvres, some signature drinks and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So again, make sure that y'all tap in. Make sure that y'all stay tuned in.
Special sale.
This is Deontay Cooley signing off. My bro Malcolm Pulliam. I hope y'all enjoyed the show tonight, because we are out and we are going to continue to come back. And we'll be on Monday, 12:30. Tune in to Black Cess Media, WICU 92.7 HD2, or you can download the app.
Black Cess.
Good night, everyone.